Yeah, we find her, the beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. So it goes so, the remix.
DMB, Tux Bites, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give you the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes, I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like the mother dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us on your radio, turn up your stereo. It's beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shorty who's worth of a lady. It's nice but maybe doesn't look like 40 yet. It's taking a little time. I wasn't seeing no signs, any traces of my baby. Who's gonna be my baby? But I thought I'm gonna take my time. Within it took a long fine eye. I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. He was right at the bus station. I tried to make a conversation, holding her arms, feeling so tough. I felt the sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes are killing tight. I found me a beautiful girl.
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe. Shaped like a cocoa bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess with your beauty. I'm impressed and I'm never in distress. Come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk, she must be from a planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger. We look good together. Take your place in my heart with your beauty. I'ma say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
Such the way she smiles at me just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep staring in her eyebrows. All I kept on saying is wow. Your beauty shines and breeze at night. All I really want in my life. Oh yeah. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing tight. I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl. What beautiful girl, yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money. You seen her? Hot Ice. Have you seen her? LP. Have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMB, baby. Look.
Beautiful.
I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time after time, I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace up with presents and gifts. Call me Santa Claus. I make a heartbeat pause. That's my girl, homeboy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me Aston Kutcher, I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'ma go get her. Since I'm a go getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world, anything for my beautiful girl. Psych. Ooh,
It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine, brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing time. I found a beautiful girl.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
What's going on? Ladies and gentlemen of Prestige, welcome back. This is Ola coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. Let's talk. Let's continue the conversation as usual. Welcome everybody. Let me just do a quick shout out to that person that came early. Juliet. Shout out to Juliet for being here earlier. Good day from wherever you are. Awesome. Do me a favor, as you're coming in, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Let's have this conversation about HAKIMI as basically turned upside down the whole Nigeria Twitter since yesterday. The last 24 hours to 48 hours has been quite interesting. And it's again another opportunity to shed light on truthfully people's mindset around love, relationships, and marriage. Now, as you know, here we talk about relationships. We talk about relationships not just to talk about relationships' sake, not just to regurgitate and remind ourselves about boundaries, equality, doing the right things, but we kind of dig a little bit deeper. Why is it that people do what they do? Why do people behave the way they behave? What is it that creates our preferences, how we show up, not just in romantic relationships, but in relationships, period, right? So we also tend to talk about power, talk about seduction, attraction, emotional intelligence, patience, love, self-awareness. If we have some time, we'll talk about marriage. I actually think that majority of people should stay away from marriage right now, especially with the mindset that I'm seeing out there. Now, we did part 1 yesterday, very quickly, but today I got time. Okay, I want to address some of the different details of this conversation about HAKIMI versus I don't know his wife's name. But I was also on Auntie B show yesterday, and I dropped a few points with regards to this topic. But I didn't really get a chance because honestly, as it was going, I was also learning more and more details about what transpired between that young man and that woman, right? So there's more to it, but here's what I can guarantee you today. My stance has not changed, okay? A lot of my stance, when I make up my opinions about some things, is because I also have experience, and I have, and there's just patterns everywhere. Humans are the same. I know we try to say things like, everyone is different. There's no one size fits all. Yes, there is. These are some of the rhetorics that's destroying relationships. There are one size fits all advices that you can seek out for. Concepts, principles that guide relationships. They exist. The question is, are you open-minded to even find out? Or you already closed your mind because in your mind, as far as you can see right now, there's no one size fits all, right? Well, it doesn't really make sense that any human being will engage anything that doesn't have some kind of principle that is literally one size fits all. That we can, like, why would you want to engage anything that doesn't have some kind of guide that you can at least work with? Yes, granted, how it shows up for everybody is different, right? From people to people, from stories to stories is different, but we're the same at the core of things, okay? It's just a big old cap when we say things like, oh, there's no one size fits all. A big old cap.
Stop the cap.
So I got time today. Again, we'll talk about those things here. You can download my book, my wife and I's books at loveandprestige.com. You can also sign up for free coaching over there. Okay. But we got some things to talk about today. I got some shout out to Film Girl and Luxury. They gave me some more information in addition to more stuff that I'm reading that about the story. And today I get to prove to you that it's still the same stance. I have the same stance. And I promise you, I try to keep an open mind. I try to see maybe there's something I don't know. But we'll analyze it together today, okay? In a little bit, I'll drop the link if anybody have an opinion, and then we could talk about it. I know many of you crave for a world of equality where, as far as, we can see, everything is just equal, everybody's happy. But I have to tell you the reality here. Power, number 2. That's not realistic. It's unrealistic. Completely unrealistic, okay? Shout out to Tima. Hello. I see Jinx. Hello. So we're going to talk about it today. I hate to bust your bubbles. There's no such thing as equality. It doesn't exist, okay? That doesn't mean we shouldn't keep advocating for equality of rights in public spaces, at places of work. Precisely, we should keep doing that. Or in terms of equality of race, culture, whatever, whatever you're fighting for, advocating for, please do that. But when we're talking about marriage, I beg, slow down on the equality thing, okay? It's hurting you. It's hurting society, okay? Because it's not realistic. Because you're falling in love with people with your heart, emotions all over the place, and then you're asking for equality.
How did you be that?
Now, real juju, and I'll break it down for you today. I got some things. There's some Twitter reactions, some very, very funny Twitter reactions. But I plan to come from a very balanced standpoint. Balance is another key word that we tend to use to destroy our own relationships. I mean, just think about it. When all you're doing is focusing on balance, you're obsessed with the idea that the other person must match you in energy, in what they bring to the table. You're obsessed with that, and that consumes energy, okay? That's very consuming, okay? It consumes, it's toxic. It creates toxic behavior because, again, you're obsessed with they must match you, they have to match you, or you're trying to match them in their lowest, okay? If you're trying to match your partner in their lowest form, like on the days that they're the weakest, you're trying to match them so that you're not cheated. You're essentially cheating yourself, right? So you look at all the responses to this HAKIMI story. You look at all the response, you see that everybody is just busy trying to see which one. It became a gender war as usual, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today. I got some stuff to go through, and as you can see, I have Paul from P Square, Mama's boy for life. That guy right there, HAKIMI. I didn't know about him before. I'm discovering him, but I know about marriage and relationships, so it's going to be well balanced. And then we have Reno Omokri. He has some things to say. I've always thought of Reno Omokri as lame, and he's had another opportunity to showcase that. So, hey Chinye, how far now? How you doing? And we have Julian here too. Shout out to Julian. All right, so this is a hot topic right now. We have to talk about it. I'm gonna do some analysis, so pardon me a little bit when I'm going to do this analysis. We break it down. I want your opinions. When I say a question, it's not a trick question. Just tell me how you feel. I probably will disagree with you. That's fine. That's okay. But if I agree with you, I'll let you know too. Okay. But you're welcome to share your opinions. If you're rude, we don't engage you. You're just blocked. Yeah. So, but please feel free as long as you stay on the topic, right? So no problem, Chia. All right. So let's talk about this. The first thing I want to go into is let's go to Twitter, right? Let me go to Instagram. As a matter of fact, let me share this. You should be able to see this now. There you go. There you go. All right. So we're back. Add this. There you go. That part right there. All right. So I'm gonna go into Instagram, and we have this guy too gave his opinion. So we're gonna talk about. There's 4 different opinions here that we're gonna talk about. Which one should somebody help me? Should I talk about this guy's opinions first? We have some comments from Film Girl, one of our Prestige family here, and Luxury. She had a point of contention. She just left that comment about 45 minutes ago or so. I promise I'm going to cover it. Which one should we go through first? We got time. We got time today. Which one should we go through first? Shout out to Jock. Yep. Which one should we go through first? Reno Omokri, Peter Paul Square, Peter Paul, or what's the name of this guy? Solomon Bucci, right? Solomon Bucci, and then this other gentleman right here. It's a very good comment. I'm going to cover as well. But let's go from bad to worse. How about that? Let's see what I have to say. This brother right here, Reno Omokri. Let's see what this brother has to say. Reno Omokri. I don't know. There's just something. I go by energy as well. There's something about his energy that was always off. But then he's proven me to be correct every single time. For the most part. Okay, except when he's talking about money. I think, but they tend to know a lot about money. They tend to know everything about science. They tend to be very, very smart. Okay. They tend to be very, very, very smart. Let's see here. I got time today. I told you. I'm just chilling, relax, Let's talk about it. That's all I'm doing today. Just hold on 1 second. Let me make sure. Yeah. Reno Omokri. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Reno. Hey, Precious. Good to see you, Precious. All right, so let me see what he said. I haven't read what he said, but I already saw some reaction to him. I know he was off. I know Peter responded to him. Now, with the P square, right? There's Peter, there's Paul. Paul is divorced. Peter is let's be fair. They will both come from 2 different angles when it comes to this HAKIMI story because they have 2 different experiences. Okay? Just naturally, okay? That's just how it works, okay? They have 2 different experiences. They will both come from 2 different, that's just how it is, okay? All right, so there's nothing to be surprising there. The only thing we should learn from that is that your experience will definitely create your biases, will create your outlook on life, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to say, I'm not going to be biased. Because again, you kind of relate with what you can relate with based off of your experiences, right? And the same is true for all of us to a large extent. And some of us are able to say, you know what, I can be objective, even though, and I've seen many people that try to be objective. People do try, but it's very difficult to be objective if you've collected woto in this street of relationship, marriage, and all this kind of stuff. It's very hard for you to see things outside of your own perspective. But again, we ask you for your opinion. So it's kind of like an oxymoron. It's like, nobody did you be that, So I understand. Okay. So this is a shout out to Instablog Nigeria. Say HAKIMI divorce. If Prince Diana was alive to control, do you think Prince Harry would have ended up as Meghan Markle's houseboy? First of all, there are 2 buzzwords here, 2 triggering negative words used particularly in a negative manner. Okay, okay. Negative context. The word by themselves are not negative, but they used the way he's used it in this time and age. It is what it is. You might call it sensitive. The way he's used it will create negative reaction. Meaning the people you're trying to send a message to won't even receive your message. So your rhetoric is essentially pointless. I see where it's trying to be at, but you can't really control the word control. You can't control adults. Okay, because I think you forgot that there are very similar stories in the family in the what do you call them in this royal family in England. There's very similar stories even in the past when people could quote unquote control. You can't control adults. You can only influence them. And as a matter of fact, I will take it further than you create better results when you influence them. That means you've taken the time to spell out what the value is. They see the value and then they move accordingly, right? So even if there's shame in bad behavior, that shame is coming from the fact that they've internalized the values of doing the right thing, right? But if all you want to do is shame them when they clearly don't subscribe to the same values with you, you're wasting your time and you're spelling out to me that you're lame. It's lame behavior, okay? So he used the word control, so that's number one of the, do you think would ended up as, yes, he could have ended up anywhere. It sounds like the guy is just a bad boy himself, But here's what Reno Omokri said. Let me see what Luxury, welcome. Luxury, I'm still going to get to your comments. We're going to talk about that. Reno Omokri is a well-known misogynistic man, so it isn't shocking with any sexist view he has about, they tend to be on that same page. Yeah. So I haven't really seen much of misogynistic. I see maybe borderline, but it makes sense that he probably said some things that I didn't get to see, right? Okay, so here's what Reno Omokri had to say. I have a mother like HAKIMI's mother, and you will never have a brother. First of all, again, let me keep saying this. The lessons we're trying to extract out of this has never been about his mother. Okay? The mother is probably trying to do the right thing. I'm sure I will read some other things here that will spell out she's trying to do the right thing, especially when we're talking about a 19-year-old boy. Like, you can't really judge her. But I want you to be aware that some 19-year-old men remain 19-year-old into their 55, 60 years old. Their mother is still, quote-unquote, controlling them. It sounds good to some people. It's the weirdest thing ever. Why would that ever sound good to anybody? I'm still trying to understand it, but I'm patient. I'll keep trying to understand, okay? Why would that be a good thing that a 43-year-old man is being controlled by his mother? I'm waiting to somebody spell out the context where this makes sense, but he can win this because he's saying it's a 19-year-old. They met when they were 19, so the mother was trying to protect. Yes, that sounds good, but once we keep reading here, we'll notice that the 19-year-old thing is irrelevant. He's literally fantasizing about the idea that your mother remains your only relative, not anything by way of marriage. In the same breath, this man will try to corner a Bible verse into it and teach you about why marriage is good. But let's keep going. I'm reading for the first time. It's already off, right? It's not about the mother. It's not about even HAKIMI. It's about all these responses I'm seeing all over the internet since yesterday. These responses are problematic. They're indicative of where marriage and the family is today, okay? These responses are coming from both sides, okay? So we're going to get there. It seems like it's coming from men, but no, it's coming from all sides, okay? But yeah, let's keep going. Men who disrespect their mothers because of their wives can learn from HAKIMI. So if I say, Mom, just sit in the back, let her sit in the front. That's disrespectful to someone like Reno, okay? If I say, Mom, I'll address this later, let's keep going. Let's talk about that later. That's disrespectful to Reno Omokri, right? If you don't shut down your wife in front of your mother, like just shut up. You're talking to my mother like that. That's you disrespecting your mother as far as Reno Omokri is concerned. It's obvious as he's going through this right now. Okay? Let's keep going. Nobody loves you like God. What? Nobody loves you like God, Peter. What is he talking about, right?
Stop the cap.
Alright, so I guess it's gonna try to inject God into it to manipulate the rest of us. No, it's not gonna work. Let me keep going. Nobody loves you like God, but after God, nobody, with the possible exception of your dad. Possible exception. Now, the dad will love you more wait until it becomes a gender war conversation. Then the dad will suddenly love you more, gentlemen. That's probably where it's gonna go. But you see, all of this is gonna end up in the poto very, very quickly. Already, right? He's trying to manipulate with Christianity now. And, Nigerians will get manipulated with Christianity all the time. It works. It works, by the way, because, hey, all you have to do is say Christianity, and so they stop paying attention, right? It is what it is. Religion has that kind of power on us, right? He said, with the possible exception of your dad, can love you like your mom. Yeah. Some mom will dump some babies in the garbage, just in case you don't know. Or they will flush the baby down the drains before the baby comes alive. It is the same Reno Omokri that will bring that as a point of contention when it comes to the A word later on. But that's not the topic. Let's not go there, right? But now, suddenly, the mom loves you more than your wife, right? We know exactly where it's going. HAKIMI makes us appreciate the lyrics of Prince Nico Mbaga's Sweet Mother. Reminiscing. I love that song too, right? But HAKIMI is not making me, I'm an advocate for respecting our parents, right? No matter what, try your best. Understand? Don't throw them under the bus because you think you're woke. I'm that guy, right? But I also know when somebody's actively trying to manipulate you with, write on paper type of rhetorics, right? Sweet mother. Me too, I love my sweet mother. Thank God. I want my mother to be here forever. But anyway, you begin to understand why there are motherless babies' homes. Why? Because some of these motherless babies' homes, the mothers are actually alive, right? Why? Let's keep going. But no fatherless babies' homes. Your wife may not take a slug for you, but she will likely take it for her child with you. Okay. HAKIMI proved that if you give your money to your girlfriend to keep, you're unwise. Okay. I do think that's unwise, but it depends on what kind of money we're talking about. First of all, the kind of money that I think we're talking about here, if you also give it to your mother, that's also foolish. Not even unwise. That's understatement. If you give the kind of money we're talking about to relative in the name of you're being protective of the fortunes, it's unwise, right? But I'm also see some people say it was the financial advisor that advised them to do it that way. Again, irrelevant. It's not relevant. What's more relevant is Reno Omokri's response to this issue. HAKIMI is not as relevant as Reno Omokri's response to what we're talking about. Because again, I don't know the full story or the full details over there, right? So I don't think it's unwise. I think it's foolish to give relative your money if we're talking about this level of fortune, okay, that I'm suspecting we're talking about. It's just foolish. That's not how to protect your assets. It's not relatives, okay? There's something called next of kin. There's something called power of attorney, right? There's more legalities to it, right? And those things kind of still reserve you to be in control, not completely put things under the name of another person in the name of blood is thicker than water. Blood is thicker than water is for the lame, okay? Listen, I understand context. Blood is thicker than water, I agree to a large extent, culture-wise, things like that. But when we're talking about real money, you're taking us out of context. Okay? We're talking about this kind of money, completely irresponsible to leave it in the hands of blood is thicker than water type of relative because you're trying to avoid your own shadow, your wife, that has 2 kids for you. So far, so good. This argument is in the poto. If you give it to your wife to keep, first of all, before I continue, the argument is already in the poto. Okay, it's not working so far. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get all the way through. Gorex, how far now? How you there? How you did? I think, Luxury said, I think before Hakimi was married and when he was minor, his mother was in charge and was in his manager. He needed an adult. Yes. This has nothing to do with what Reno Omokri is saying, as you can see. Reno Omokri doesn't care about all of that. He's like, no, mother, no matter what age, she loves you more than your wife. That's what he's saying. That's what I'm addressing with these topics, right? And the other adult stuff, he didn't change it. And when he he needed an adult to be in charge. And in case of taxes and other adult stuff, and he didn't change it. Reno Omokri is a controversial person. I don't even know if I should place him as a cloud chaser. No, he means what he's saying. I'm not going to give... See, if I call him a cloud chaser, I'm giving him extra credit. No. He means exactly what he's saying. And I have to treat it accordingly. Also, I'm not in support of mama's boys and the idea that your wife isn't part of your family. That's entirely ridiculous. I got you. I'm going to get to your comments here in a few minutes. I got you. My question is, can't court withdraw allow the mom release the assets, since the court is probably going to do that? Depends on how good your lawyer is. Depends on what part of the world you're in. If they're actually in Spain and not Morocco, all of this is whatever he was trying to do is in the water. If she has a good lawyer, it makes no sense. They're not gonna. They can trace all money. Why do you think they arrest people for money laundering? They say, oh, the money is not in my charge anymore. We're not going to arrest you. You just end up in jail for no reason, because there is money laundering, because you have to, even when it comes to cleaning the money, you have to go jump through a few hoops, not arm's length. Your mother, nah, it's obvious. Right? It's obvious. So anyway, let's keep talking. We got more to talk about. Hit that like button, I beg, hit that like button. All right, and of course, if you donate today, I'm going to play this for all the people that have donated to this platform in the past. Every time you donate something, I'll play it. All right, so welcome back. Jillian says mama's boys everywhere. Tima says, I sometimes wonder what would make a mother raise their children finished and refuse to let go of them, live freely. And I'm talking, these are some of the reasons. A lot of the misbehaviors that you see in relationships come from a quote unquote, I say that lightly, good place. They are actually trying to do the right thing. Right? They're trying to do the right thing with respect to some of the extremes of bad behaviors in the past. For example, a woman becoming completely vicious and destroy a man because a marriage ended in the divorce court, take everything from him, destroy family fortunes and stuff like that. It happens. So when people try to overreact to that, and they not try to protect themselves. Literally, majority of the bad behavior you're seeing in relationships and marriages today is coming from overreaction and over protecting yourself. I understand the need to protect yourself, but do you know where to draw the line so you don't self-destruct? That's the conversation we're having, right? That's the conversation we're having. So when you see monster in-law, there's a big prayer. If you have boys, if you're raising sons, you have a big prayer, because sometimes when you're being monster-in-law, you don't mean any harm. You're coming from a place that you're just being protective, limited, blind spots everywhere, limited knowledge, limited wisdom, limited limitations of just being a human being. That's why we keep having this conversation. So when people say, some mother are just evil, I was like, yeah, that mindset enough will let you attract the worst, because it will cast a blind spot on you, as opposed to, all right, I feel like this woman is evil, but Jesus, it's difficult, but she's trying to protect something, but what is it about me that's making her feel like she needs to protect her son? That's a long sentence, right? But that sentence will produce a little bit more of a productive answer for your personal relationship. But everybody will just be like, I have an evil mother-in-law. on both sides, right? So some of this behavior are coming from not really a good place. I wouldn't call it a good place, but a place that's authentic. People are trying to protect themselves. They're being overly protective. And unfortunately, marriages and romantic relationship cannot thrive if you don't have a reasonable level of vulnerability. I'm sorry. Most sorry, God. If you don't have a reasonable level of vulnerability, trust, you're better off staying single. It's not worth it, I promise you. I know. I'm supposed to be selling marriage, Abby. No, I don't sell marriage. I keep telling you that I don't sell marriage. I sell healthy marriages. If you can't find yourself to be vulnerable, meaning you're willing to trust, meaning you don't have all the information, if you can't do that, if you can't comprehend the idea that your wife is more of your family than the mother who gave birth to you, you're better off staying single. And vice versa. If you can't comprehend the idea that it's a bad idea to go and build a house inside of your father's compound, that is a bad idea without the consent of your husband, you're better off staying single. You have good reasons. Maybe your mother went through a situation where, your mother suffered in the hands of your father and ended up with nothing. I know that you have valid reasons. But still, with that mindset, you go collect. You collect. You attract what you fear the most. You're better off staying single, I promise you. Alright? Because you can't see everything. And your shadow, they go follow you everywhere you go. You can't see everything. There's only so much you can see and protect yourself. In your last show, you need people. You need the people around you. You need them. You need them at the level that you know that you can't see everything. But when you bring them around you, but then you're always looking over your shoulder, they're about to get me. They're going to hurt me. You're better off staying single. Okay? And you're even better. Don't have kids, gentlemen. If you're going to have kids and you live in the Western world because you want to avoid marriage, you go collect, They will drag you inside that court. All your money will be gone. The money you don't want to lose to a wife, you will lose it to lawyers. Okay. So anyway, let me continue with Reno here. Reno is still talking. All right. So Reno says his last statement was, if you give it to your wife to keep, you are half wise. This is coming from somebody that's highly respected in society. You see what kind of trouble we're in right now? And I believe he believes himself. I believe he thinks he's saying something that makes sense. Even worse. See, when somebody is trying to deceive you, you can at least see them as a liar and then avoid them. But when they mean it, come on, we have problems. So. But if you give it to a demonstrably, he's trying to put it into English now so that you can encapsulate everything, all inclusive, so it doesn't miss a demonstrably. That means a good mother who has demonstrated to keep. What's demonstrably keep? What is he talking about? What is he talking about? If you give it to a demonstrably good mother to keep, you are truly, fully, completely, totally, and unequivocally wise. It's foolish. That's not how to protect your assets, gentlemen. There are ways to protect your assets. You're not trying to protect your assets from your wife, particularly if you have this kind of fortune. You're actually trying to protect it from yourself too. You realize that you're actually trying to protect your own fortune from yourself because you might have bad spending behavior. Maybe you're too frugal. Maybe you're too lawasi, animation, right? You're actually trying to protect it from your bad behavior. You're not trying to protect it from persons. See, when you try to protect your fortune from persons, you don't get it. Money is a spirit. You don't get it at all. You're trying to protect from persons. This is an issue that I have with my own parents from time to time. I said, listen, they want to tell me about that person that stole money that didn't do so. I said, no, they are not the issue. You are the issue. You are. If you send money to Nigeria for somebody to help you do something and then they over and over, repeatedly, they stole money from you, they are not the issue. The common denominator is you. If you have unrealistic expectations of human beings, You will collect every time. But Ola, why don't you just call them wrong when they are wrong? They are wrong. Are you satisfied? They're wrong. Okay, they're wrong. But the bigger issue here is that the common denominator is you. You will repeat it because your shadow is right there. It's following you everywhere you go. Reno does not understand that. It's too deep. There is a difference between controlling a man and protecting him. Okay, good point. Okay. Again, he's trying to infuse talking about Hakimi's mother into it. This is not about Hakimi's mother. It's about these ideologies that somehow one relative is better than the other relative. There's a difference between controlling a man and protecting him. Then this ideology that your wife, a person that you saw into a covenant, you did vows with, to do life with, the person spitting out your kids, that they're somehow less of a relative than your mother. That's a problem. That's a problem. Not particularly because you're wrong on paper. You know, they're always right on paper. It's because this mindset will lead to self-destruction. Okay? Those who say Hakimi's mother controls him may not see the big picture. All right, this is difficult. More difficult than I thought. It's actually very difficult for me to get people like Reno and this type of people that follow this type of rhetorics to see a bigger picture, because they're just focused on tangible and, you know, some things they might call intangible too, I'm noticing. But basically, yeah, they can't comprehend the idea that we're emotional beings. They don't get it. Would you rather be controlled or made poor by divorce? See argument. If Prince Harry was controlled, would he have ended up with Meghan? Keep in mind that Prince Harry is not complaining yet, right? But somehow he knows how Prince Harry feels about his wife. Now real juju be this one. Now real witchcraft. He continues, I guess. There's a difference between control. Okay, that's the same one. I beg, leave Hakim's mother alone. I do think we should leave Hakim's mother alone. This is not about her. She was probably protecting her son before she met that much older woman. I do think that's kind of disgusting. From 31 to 19, that's kind of far. But it's not illegal. Can you stay on point? Can you stay in the conversation within context? It's not illegal for a 31-year-old woman to get with a 19 and have 2 babies. It's not illegal. You can find it disgusting. That could be your opinion, like myself. It's still not relevant to what we're talking about. What are we talking about? We're talking about Reno's response to these issues. That's what we're talking about. Not Hakimi. Is it Hakimi or Hakimi? Whichever one. It's not Hakimi or Hakimi's mother. They are not relevant at this point. Okay? They're not, because I don't know the full details. I'm sure Film Girl and Luxury will tell me a little bit more in a few minutes. But it's not relevant. Okay? What's more relevant is this mindset that you're going to go get married to a person that you don't trust. Listen, you might end up in a marriage that you're not trusting the person, but typically it does. You didn't plan to not trust them. Maybe something happened that broke the trust. That happens. That's reality. See, we're mixing all of it together. Some people are talking about it like it's the same thing, right? They're saying, oh, why would people be married to people people get married to people they trust them and they break the trust. Betrayal. Oh, sort of kind of like what happened between Hakimi and his wife, right? If you're being accused, gentlemen, listen to me clearly. Part of the problem is unrealistic expectations. I don't care how close to you, how forgiving your wife is, if you are accused of grape, the fruit grape, if you're accused of that, even if it's false, it will destabilize. Your expectations should be that it will destabilize your family altogether, disarray everywhere for a while. Okay? So how you respond to that crisis is everything. It's your test of life. Okay? But to expect that a woman who already made statements in support of her husband will feel like that 100% all the time, that's unrealistic expectations, and that's part of your problem. It's probably what got you to where you are right now. Okay? So he goes, I beg, leave Hakim's mother alone. We all should have such a mother. She's a hero. Okay, so thank God he's not saying Hakimi is a hero. He's saying the mother. I do think mothers are heroes. I don't know enough about this mother. Well, I mean, she was there for the son since 19. Got him in the profession that he's in, supportive and all that kind of stuff. But that's not what we're talking about. It's irrelevant, right? It's irrelevant. Anyway, that's Reno Omokri's take on that really quickly. I think we cover that really quickly, very nicely. Right? But let's see who else had something to say about this. Okay, there were many. Let me go to Twitter first. On Twitter, it's some interesting. Let me see what went down in the Kimi divorce trial. Okay, let's see.
The court has come to a conclusion. Mr. Ashraf Hakimi, the law states that due to the divorce, your lovely wife here is going to walk away with half of all your belongings. So, Mr. Hakimi, how much are you actually worth? I don't get shishi.
What do you mean?
What is the meaning of this? Does he think we're here to joke? This ain't no joke, boy. You can ask my mama right there. Yes. All his money is with me. God damn, I better plot twist. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to close this case then. Oh, Hakimi, you monster.
You dirty mama's boy. You will pay for this.
I don't think you understand, baby. I know they pay for shit.
In the trap, they deliver like dominoes. Lava real, we got pepper like King Cole. You a shrimp, I take your bitch and pop it over. Real estate to them.
You think say they wise? You are a mumu man.
It's funny. Okay, it's funny as shit. But that's what's going on Twitter. That's exactly what's going on Twitter. Okay. Tima says, I'm talking about kids in their 30s, 40s and still can't make decisions. Yes. We're not talking about that 19 years old. This conversation is bigger than Hakimi and his mother. Okay. Because again, you're right. They probably did what they thought was the best thing to do and stuff like that. But the court is going to dig in further. If she has money for lawyers, they're going to access all that money. Okay. Don't get it twisted. Okay. Especially if they live in Spain and not Morocco. If we're talking about Spain and Morocco, he better have hidden all of it somewhere in the middle of a shito country somewhere. If not, they will access all that money, just so you know. Poverty mentality everywhere is precisely a poverty mentality, lack of abundance mindset. If you have lack of abundance mindset, if you think someone is always out to get you, people are just out here trying to hurt you, you're better off staying single. Marriage is not for you because you will feel like your wife is out to... The day she decides that she's tired, you will feel like she's just evil. You're better off being single, okay? And if you try to have kids being single, they will drag you inside of child support court too. I'm warning you, unless you live in Nigeria. So just letting you know. From a legal standpoint, if the mom passes on, his father and his siblings can lay claims on his assets since it's his mom's name. Yes? Yeah. So it's not exactly protection. It's fake protection. Like I said, fake defense. Okay. If that's what it was doing. But maybe that's not what it was doing. I don't know. Right? It's the way a lot of men are celebrating for me and saying the only person that loves them and we never leave them is their mother. That's false. Mothers leave their children all the time. But I see what they're talking about. They're wrong. All of them are wrong. Including Reno Omokri. They're all wrong. Okay. This one is Mumuga. Well, so far, for now, right? We don't know. Again, there's a case that's still going on. We'll see where it lands. Life is unfair. Maybe life will be unfair to her. I don't know. But there are two big questions, right? Two big questions. If this was actually deliberate, right? This boy is a true boy. He looks like a boy here. If this is a deliberate move to hide all this money, right? Was it wise? That's number one question. And if from everything we know so far, is the wife a gold digger? That's the second biggest question in the conversation. Those are the two questions that everybody wants to answer. They don't want to know what lessons for people that are trying to go into marriage. They don't want to know all the kumbaya talk. Allah is going to start speaking too much English and all that kind of stuff. They don't care. They just want to know, is she a gold digger or was it a wise move, right? I think it's a foolish move if that was deliberate. That's not how to protect assets. Is she a gold digger? I don't know. Okay. But a 31-year-old woman, 32-year-old woman, gunning for a little boy that just got signed into professional soccer. You know, I don't know, but I see why people think it's a gold digger. That is a stretch, right? I see that, okay? But again, majority of the men responding online, that's not what they're talking about. What they're talking about is that you protect from you. It doesn't matter how old the wife is. Just protect yourself from your wife with your mother. These are the problems with marriage today. It's incompetent behavior. Listen, some of these guys are good guys. It's not a morality issue. It's incompetence. You can be a good guy and just know how to do what you don't know how to do. Okay? The more you compete with women in this conversation, the worse it gets. It tells me even more so that you're not competent. Okay? I need to show up later on. How? You know, the only way it won't show up is if MGTOW, just avoid marriage altogether. Go your own way. Men go their own way. That's perfectly fine. The problem is that men that actually don't care for marriage, they don't end up in MGTOW. Okay? They don't know that YouTube conversations about this exist. They don't care. Okay? They could care less about what we're talking about. They don't care about any of this kind of stuff. Okay? So let me see what else this person says. Let me see. Hakimi used to tell her, "You're the only thing that I have." She thought he was lying. That's funny. That is funny. These people, man. That is funny. You get it? If you don't get it, forget about it. I need a soundbite. I'm just like Hakimi. What is this? Me, balance, zero bank. Hakimi. What? I didn't get that. All right. So Hakimi, Peter Okoye says, marry your mother. If you can't trust your wife. Some people will say he's shaming them now. But let me first of all say that you're right. If you think he's shaming you.
You're right.
All right. So let's first of all acknowledge that you're right. You just got shamed. I hope it worked. But beyond that, let's dissect it, right? On the surface, on paper, you can't trust the woman you're going to marry. It makes logical sense to not marry that woman, okay? I know that it's shaming language to say things like marry your mother. I get that. Forgive him, okay? But everything you would do with the person you're married to, I think you should do it with your mother, right? Except Kerewa part, except the sex part, right? Yeah. So sorry for the shaming, okay? Sorry for the shaming, but it makes sense that everything else except Kerewa that you would do, that you should do it with your hangout at the mall, take out on a cruise, all that kind of stuff. Put your money with her. It makes sense. You can't argue that now because again, you go collect in this street if that's your mindset that you can trust your mother always, regardless of the situation. Yeah, regardless of how much divorce. I understand divorce, so many divorces going on, so everybody is scared, right? You're just better off protecting yourself. Do everything with your mom. I think that's where it's coming from. But let me look at this, right? Let me look at the full message from. I think I have the full from Peter. Where is it? Okay, yeah, this is it right here. I got it. Shout out to Instablog Nigeria again. I can always trust them to chop this up for us, okay? So that was a statement. Marry your mother if you can't trust your wife. Again, it was shaming you. I hope it worked, but sorry. But let's continue. Right? Wait, before I go to Peter's, let me see here. Advice to men. Some village, whatever this is, is advising men. Advice to men. Since you know you will have to share 50% of your assets with your wife during a divorce. Make sure you marry a woman who contributes as much as you do, so to avoid plenty. Magana, thank you. You see advice. You see advice now. Are you happy, gentlemen?
Not be juju be that.
Marry a woman who contributes 50-50. Okay? Never mind the rest of the other factors involved in this. Just marry a woman. Somebody's advising us. They think they're advising us, right? Not too far. How you there? So I don't show my people. I know. If I was a divorce lawyer for men, especially wealthy men, I'll recommend men to have a protection to their assets through pre- and post-nuptial agreements to make story that touched. To make story that touched, or you mean to make the story? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yes, we're going to talk. Actually, let me just address that right now. Pre-nup and post-nuptial agreement are good. That's fine. If that's what you want, go for it. But like everything else in life, there's limitations. Okay, first of all, prenups do get thrown out in court if it's unreasonable. Okay, people that tend to want to draw up prenup, broke people. When I say broke, I'm saying anyone making less than $250,000 a year. You know, I'm stretching a little bit, but you get the gist, right? If they're trying to draw a prenup, usually they're coming from a place of unreasonable. Okay, things like she doesn't deserve anything if she breaks up the marriage, you know, things like that, right? That's usually, so they usually draw up stupid prenups. So when they draw up stupid prenups, they will get thrown out in court anyway. Now, you can draw up a very good prenup. If you drop a very good prenup and your wife agrees to it, fine, okay? But if it's a post-nup, you're already married and you just pull out post-nup out of nowhere, there's a problem with the marriage. There's something going on. There's something going on at a deeper level with that marriage with regards to trust. And post-nup is not going to let it go away, sorry. Okay, you will get your post-nup, you will protect yourself financially, but the biggest part of this, emotionally, that thing here that's been tampered with is not protected. Okay, it's not protected. Okay, so as long as you know the limitations, you'll be protected. Prenup and post-nup, the most they can do is protect you financially, but that you won't chop premium breakfast or more, you just increase the chance, especially if it's a post-nup. Just because, again, you're going into this situation looking over your shoulder in the name of, I need to protect myself. Again, you're in competition with the person you're trying to marry. I understand it's a very difficult thing to comprehend. It just doesn't make sense. You should protect yourself. There's divorce everywhere. I know, okay? If you're a person of a certain caliber, draw up a prenup, get it done. Learn how to have a conversation about this. Babe, I just want to make sure we don't have to worry about this again. I want to make sure you're good in case something happens to our marriage, because it's designed to say, hey, this is what's going to happen from a reason. It needs to be reasonable. If it's not reasonable, they will throw it out in the courts. Again, that's why they still go to court. That's why there are divorce lawyers. That's how it works. Okay. So, but people that tend to have the majority of people having this conversation are people that will draw up stupid prenup, unreasonable ones that will get thrown out in court, or they will go and overreact in court, and a judge will take it personally and throw it out anyway. Drag them woto. So again, so what can we do to protect yourself? That's part of it. That's a good subscribe, but you need something a little deeper than. You need to learn how marriages work. You need to learn how to play offense in marriages. Offense, not offensive against your partner, is you and her, you and him against the world, not against each other. The rest of the conversation we're having is just stuff against each other. Reno Omokri's response is basically a fight, a battle against each other. These are the issues, okay? So you will end up in the court. The court has to come in and help you. They will help you how they deem fit. It's still basically their, what they call it? I forgot the word that's coming to me. Discretion, okay? God help you. You're a man. You end up with a woman judge who had collected woto from a man. You go no. Say kijiba go shower. Okay. Speaking of control, the best control is influence. Learning how influence works with respect to power. Okay, within the context of a romantic relationship. That's the best one. It sounds like I have you read my, like, listen, the same thing you have to do. After you end up in divorce and you end up divorced, you still have to do them. Because you're going to end up in a relationship with people. God help you, your ex-wife or your ex-husband. See? So sure, there's nothing wrong with pre or post-nup. But even having the conversation around there, especially post-nup, you need some emotional intelligence to have that conversation. Okay? Go and watch the episode of Real Ex-Wives of Atlanta, where Candy was asking the husband for prenup. And I want you to go and pay attention to that conversation and tell me if that conversation was as straightforward as it looks on paper. I want you to tell me that, okay? Yeah. Now too, I'm going to drop the link in a little bit. Just want to get through some quick analysis here. Hang out. Women don't play fair, especially in Western and European countries. Some women use divorce courts to their own benefit and to unfairly spiteful deal. I disagree with you 100%. But I understand. Jesus. I'll get to it because I have the other write-up from before. I'll get to it, okay? I disagree with you. There are women that don't play fair. Okay? There are women that don't play fair. That's different from women don't play fair. Men and women don't play fair when they end up in a fight, in the when they end up in this space of divorce. If you have any experience with divorce, nobody is playing fair. It doesn't make sense. Okay, I guess it makes sense. It's unrealistic to expect people to play fair, or to expect both people trying to play fair when clearly one person doesn't want the marriage to end. It's unrealistic expectations. It's the same unrealistic expectations that ended the marriage that you are still asking for. So it's going to take a lot of emotional energy on your part if you feel like the other person is not playing fair to get them to play fair. That same thing that you didn't want to do inside of the marriage, you now have to do. Or they will drag you woto inside of court. The conversation is always deeper than common sense. Okay? The conversation is always deeper than common sense. Always. I love common sense too. I think we should have common sense, but it's not 1 + 1 = 2. Fairness is the wrong conversation. Fairness is the wrong word. People's emotions are caught up in this. No one is trying to play fair. Okay? No one is trying to play fair. Even the person that think they're playing the most fairest, they're probably one that's not playing fair. They just think they're holier than thou. Is that too deep? See, when a person believes that they were raised properly and they believe that their partner were raised terribly, even though they married that person, you can't tell them nothing. They feel like they feel like they were playing fair. Maybe they were playing fair. The other person doesn't feel like you're playing fair. The other person feel like you were evil. So they're ready. God help you end up with a partner, ex-partner who is vindictive. They would destroy you. The chances that they would destroy you, take everything away from you is high because clearly you were terrible at understanding what kind of power you have inside of the marriage. And it will show up again in court. In fact, you overreact inside of the court sometimes. Your lawyer will tell you, like, you're going to mess up this case for us. Calm down. Why? Because you feel like it's unfair, right? You even feel further that it's so unfair because they're asking you to be the one to calm down. Why should that be the one to calm down? She's the one that's been evil all the while, right? Yeah, because you're obsessed with fairness. Yeah, in love and war, all is fair. I'm sorry. It's true all the time. I know. What kind of word is this? Why are people so wicked? I know. I know how you feel. But the more you feel that way and you don't get a grip of yourself, the more you're going to be a loser. Precisely. Gentlemen, I think Luxury is a woman. She's trying to help. That's not help. You need to understand how this works. Deeper than surface level anything. Okay? If she tried to be fair, her lawyers would be like, well, you owe us this amount of money. But if you let us help you get some of that money, we'll cover this other part of the fee. Why would the lawyer do that? It's all negotiation tactics. They get more money, you get more money. They give you some more back, but they get more money effectively. And then they destroy the man. the best thing is to not be in that position at all. But if you are in that position, you need to engage the same skill set. How do you maintain emotional self-control, self-awareness, emotional intelligence? You're going to need those same skill sets even when you're fighting the battle of that divorce. That's how you win. Okay? If you overreact, like what we've seen on Twitter over the last few days, I don't know what to tell you. But the biggest people in the world, the most powerful people in the world understand what I'm talking about, and take the time to rewind the video, watch it again if you have to. Calm down. Calm down all the way. That's where your power lies. Okay? Either you're the man or the woman. But I don't agree that women don't play fair. Some women don't play fair. Okay? And it makes sense that they're not trying to play fair. Fairness is in the what. Okay? All right, so let's get into this real quickly. So what did Peter say? Peter says, just my own view and opinion. It's fair to say that, it's a fair opinion. Fair enough to say that Peter is married. He will collect later. That's why he's talking like that, because he's happily married right now. I get that. I get that all the time, personally. I think it's fair to say that. I still think you're wrong. Okay? It's possible, though, that Peter is naive, right? Because right? It's possible, okay? But you're still wrong, okay? There's nothing you go into that you should be. There's nothing worthwhile you go into that you should be that pessimistic. If you're that pessimistic, you're better staying off of that thing. Don't marry women, don't have children. If you know you're going to be completely pessimistic about the idea that a woman can be all the way in love with you, trust you, and do everything to make your life easier and better. If that's a strange idea to you, you're hurting other people by repeating it to other people on Twitter, and you're going to continue to attract that because it's your reality. Even when a woman is trying to do the right thing, you will end up attracting the same thing. Okay? All right. Let's see. Let me see what Peter said. Peter said, just my own view and opinion. I don't understand why most men are rejoicing over this HAKIMI story. He can't understand because he's enjoying life with his wife. I see why he probably doesn't understand. Like, I don't get it. Well, I get it. Like Luxury was just saying, there's no fairness when you enter that court. There's no fairness. People are dragged inside that place. Not particularly because their partner wants to drag them, because there are multiple other vested interests in dragging each other. Lawyers are involved. Don't get it twisted. And the state gets paid off of these situations too. Just in case you don't know, the longer the case is, the better. I need you to understand that. The best you can do is do everything in your power to learn what you need to learn so you don't end up there. And if you've already been there before, do everything in your power to not end up in a divorce court or a child support court, because nothing is guaranteed. Anything is off. Listen, everything is up for grabs. So I wanted to say, right? The truth is bitter, but needs to be told. Well, I don't think I'm telling the truth per se. I think the truth will be your result. The best results you should look. Just the best way to see results. Look at reality and your results. Reality and your results. What does your result say? Have you created bad results? That's your truth, not the one you're saying with your mouth. The truth is the result you created. That's the truth of what's going on. Not my opinion of what the truth is, or what your opinion of what the truth is, or quote unquote your interpretation of the Bible. All that ends in the poto because it's all double-edged swords, right? The truth is bitter but needs to be told. If you don't trust her, then don't marry. As simple as that. Well, people trust people and betrayers are broken. I can see some naivety there, okay? But I can see that people need to hear that too. Because if you understand that, hey, trust is broken somehow, somewhere, it doesn't have to be my fault, but something is tampering with trust in our marriage. What I need to address is trust and how to recover trust. Not turn around and say, women are evil. Women just want to do play fair. No. Listen, Luxury is trying to help us, gentlemen. Okay? But I'm telling you, this world is not about playing fair. Okay? If you don't have competence, if you don't have competitive advantage, you will end up on the street. Okay, it's an active marketplace, but you will end up in the streets if you don't have competitive advantage. That's how the world works. Even in the corporate world where they have all these laws, why do you think they have the laws, the state laws and labor law? And because people are going to play unfair. People are going to play unfair because, listen, being competitive and staying winning in this marketplace no be anybody's mate. People are going to try to destroy you and everything you stand for if you stand in their way. Okay? They only play partnership when it favors them. They play win-win when it favors them. Right? The moment they feel like you're a threat, you get wiped out. Oh, gentlemen, that's how the real world works, right? We don't get to run around town yelling equality. We don't get to do that. You need to understand that you need to have power. You need to understand that you need to continue to learn power. What is your power? Emotional intelligence, self-awareness. Power also is servant leadership. Why? Because you actually benefit from it. You have influence. People want to listen to you. You carry a certain type of energy. When you enter a room, people just want to listen. They can trust you. Why? Not because they want to trust you. It's because you are trustable. They can see you and they feel like they can benefit from trusting you. The moment they feel like, because of equality, let me trust so I can equally put trust here and here. The moment they feel that way, they feel threatened, they feel unsafe with you, they will destroy you and wipe you out. And they will justify it with BS. Be careful with that equality rhetorics or fairness rhetorics. Be careful with it. I think it's cute. I think it's good. But I'm here to tell you the reality. The reality is that this is a very active marketplace. May the winners keep winning. Okay? There are social programs in place to help people become equal. When it comes to your relationship, you're expected to be the leader. You're expected to move accordingly. You're expected to sow seeds and then expect it in due seasons to germinate, right? You're expected to be a leader. You're expected to not argue when she says she wants to be a partner. Say, partnership? Yes, sure, babe. Of course you're my partner, right? But she expects you to lead. Don't be delusional. If you can't lead, you will collect. So what does lead mean? Just connect to receiving? No, it means you're able to stand on your square, and if you need to walk away, you walk away. That also includes walking away when somebody is being unreasonable, right? But you sit down there, you're arguing with your shadow, and you forget that this is supposed to be your wife, and you're now saying your mother is over her. They're not relevant. Your mother is in our lane, your wife is in our lane. That's queen mother. That's your queen. Why are they competing with each other, right? Oh, let me guess, you're competing with your wife. You can't help yourself. That's a problem. That's precisely why you've been creating your truth, your results. So let me keep going. I'm analyzing quite a bit, but it's worth it. Trust me. Or are you expecting your wife to suffer after divorce? Remember, the one you trusted with all your property in the name of mother was once your father's wife. Good point. I was somebody's wife. Somebody had to trust her. Okay. You broke up with your bro because of woman. Somebody said that to him, I guess, right? He did. That's emotions. Emotions will make you do stupid stuff like P Square did in the past, right? Did your brother share 50-50 with his ex-wife? They're asking him that, right? They asking for 50-50, by the way, doesn't mean you're going to get 50-50. You're probably going to get less, okay? But asking for it doesn't mean you're going to get it, right? Demanding for it doesn't mean you're going to get, just like everything else. Demanding for respect doesn't mean you're going to get respect. You're going to earn respect 100% of the time. The mother you are clamoring about is also somebody's wife at some point before she became his mother. What if she was treated the same way? These are good points. These are good questions to answer, at least to have a conversation around, right? Please marry your mother. All right, that's shaming language. I use shaming language too. I try to avoid doing that. I try to catch myself because I'm human too. Because sometimes I just don't understand why people think the way they think. But I understand that shaming language doesn't get people to listen. Okay? If anything, it just gets them to shut down and create even worse results for our society, right? Having out of wedlock kids all over the place, single parenthood, because people don't have competence. People think marriage is just supposed to happen naturally. They don't realize that there's real skills and game that makes it work, right? They're playing competition. Right? It's you against me, as opposed to you and I against the world. Make all of una go marry una mama. No time. Since Hakimi sense one key una. I don't blame you, Sha. Somebody's answering him, I guess. I don't blame you, Sha. If woman fit cause serious problem between you and your blood brother, waiting remain again. Jesus Christ. My advice for you, say, make you learn from Hakimi before your woman divorce you, collect all your properties. So I've been seeing that theme. I see that 23, 24-year-old, 26-year-old woman is the one teaching our men how to move in society. They are so weak. They're in such a weak place that they're losing it. They've lost so much. Women have destroyed their life. And now the only choice they have left is to listen to 23, 19, 23, 26-year-old people. Why? Because they're smart. They know book smart. They can read books. They know 1 + 1 = 1. They know the Fibonacci equation, principle, law of quadratic, right? Now go collect. I can't save everybody even at this point. I don't think I can save everybody at this point. But we will keep having the conversation. Let me go back to the comments. I beg. Let me go back to the comments. Right? Let me go back to the comment. What, seriously, to marry a woman who contributes 50-50? Okay, we will wait. Abby. Go and find a woman. There are many women that contribute more than that. It doesn't save them from their marriage. It doesn't. There are many women who contribute much more than 50%. And they'll still collect from the man. Right? So I don't know. I don't know what that point was. But anyway, my question is she there for the money? Why half from the father of your children? Yeah, we already answered that. People don't play fair when they end up in divorce court, especially if there's rape allegations, if there's cheating, if people feel betrayed, if people feel like, if people start behaving vindictive. Yeah, the best thing you can do is have a lawyer. If you don't have a lawyer, you go collect, So is it fair? We don't know what's fair until they start collecting or start doing the, collecting data, doing the balance sheet. We don't know what's fair. We don't know what's fair until we don't know what's fair, right? What I can tell you is that 50% of somebody's fortune, yes, it can ruin them. For him, I think he makes most of his money, if I'm wrong, correct me, from playing soccer, right? I'm not sure how much dent that's going to make for him, right? But it's not about her asking for 50-50. It's about understanding that lawyers have to eat. The lawyers will look at everything they have. They say, okay, they will have a meeting. They say, you know what? This is what we should go for. This is reasonable. We're probably not going to get this, but let's start from here. We'll negotiate. That's how the conversation goes. It's not really about fairness once you end up in divorce court. That's why I keep telling you, if you can avoid it, avoid going to divorce court. Learn how to have conversations with your partner, your ex-partners. Learn some self-awareness. Know when you overreact. Understand that this is not about, they're not that special, okay? You have more power than them if you can calm down, right? But if you're overreacting like all those men I see on social media over the past 2 days, which is understandable, if you take it to your personal life, you will end up attracting what you fear the most. That is how Tiger Woods was destroyed. Yeah, was that how Tiger Woods was destroyed, or he did something before he ended up there? Or would she just completely avoid what he did before he ended up there, right? I get it. I understand. You're still doing the fairness thing. Everybody wants to play fair. Forget fairness. You go into relationships to go give. If you can't give, don't do relationships. If you're doing give and take, just stay away from relationships, okay? What, Ola? Give or take? What do you mean? Relationship is give or take? Really? So what happened? Why are we talking about this? Okay. Listen, people will reciprocate. They will give back to you, especially women. They're incubators. They will reciprocate and give back to you. But again, there are many other factors, right? And I'm talking about you being obsessed with take. You haven't even finished giving. You're already worried about take. And you're surprised why people end up in divorce. Okay. Keep waiting for take. Okay. I think I'm okay with luxury. I think I'm okay with divorced men paying a reasonable child support and alimony. See, reasonable is such a vague language. While I think something is reasonable, the other person doesn't feel it's reasonable. Now you're calling me unreasonable, and I think you're unreasonable. The conversation, like, you're not wrong, but the conversation is deeper than that. It's vague, right? There are two people involved at any point in time. So it's a little bit more complex than what should be. What should be is fantasy. when you're dealing with two or more people, it becomes more complicated because we have differences in opinions. I feel like it's unfair. You feel like it's fair, right? That's why fairness is in the poto. There's no such thing, right? It just doesn't exist. You're just going to have to learn how to negotiate. And when we're talking about relationship is involved, people are caught up in their emotions. It's unrealistic to expect them to have the same idea of fairness or reasonable as you. It's unrealistic. Like it doesn't exist. Like I hear you, it's in a cute, ideal world. Yes, you're correct, right? She says, but divorced women ask for unreasonable amount of money, but you can fight it in court and give a reasonable, well, they end up having to do it in court precisely, right? But that court will drag you. Both men, women, and the children will be dragged in the bo. Yeah. I will address it every single time you say it. Is the obsession with fairness. That's precisely what the problem is. Okay. I think you're giving me as we go. If we still have time, we'll go through what you sent to me earlier. But I see where you're coming from. I appreciate the advocacy for men. But men need to learn a deeper lesson than the fairness stuff, okay? It doesn't work. We're talking about your woman as a man. We're talking about your wife as a woman. We're not talking about some strange woman off the streets. We're not talking about, yes, she's acting strange. You feel like she's acting strange right now. So you can't wait. You're like, she's just evil. But then you're self-destructing in the process, right? Like, then you slap yourself like, calm down. You need wisdom. Relax. Okay? And it's tough. You see, anything I say is easier said than done, just so you know. Anything I say here is easier said than done. But calm down. You're calming down, I'm telling you. If you're in the Western world, calm down. Okay? If you're in Nigeria, okay, maybe you can get away with some of those bad behavior, but eventually to catch up too. The most powerful people in the world, it's not about how loud you are or how aggressive you get, okay? It's about understanding when to make a move, when not to make a move, understanding where your weak point is, identifying your strength and leveraging them, okay? It's not fairness. It's never been about fairness. You're not going to hear that anywhere else. Everybody else is talking about fairness, what should be, fantasies, but clearly it's not happening. It's not happening. It's not working, right? What you need to, if you care, as a normal man, you want your woman to be happy if everything is good. If she's not trying to take 50% of your money away. It makes sense that you're talking like Peter, right? That's the goal, to get into that space, to get back into that space. You know what I'm saying? Where you don't feel like somebody's out to get you. If you're always looking over your shoulder, you think somebody's trying to get you, you will attract what you fear the most. All the time. Every time. Because even if you don't attract, you'll be looking for it. Because you're looking for red flags. You get it? Like, that's what you see everywhere. Why? Because you're obsessed with it should be fair, it should be fair. No, it doesn't need to be fair. Okay? It needs to be something both of you agree to. You need to be on the same page. What it looks like when you're on the same page may not look fair to another person, your enemies. They might look at you and say your wife is taking advantage of you. Or they might look at your wife and say, can't you see that your husband is taking advantage of you? But it's only you two that understand you're in agreement. That's the goal. The goal is not fairness in the eyes of everybody. Because fairness means this person can see, this thing is fair. This person can see, they think it's reasonable. This person can see. That's what that looks like. But that's not what makes marriages work. That's not what makes marriages work. That's not what makes relationships work. You get what you want, I get what I want is what makes it work. Okay? Using mathematical equation to declare what's fair, it doesn't work. It hasn't worked, it will never work. Okay? Go out, you can go to the court and see how, even after they spell it out, I say this is fair, and you can see the anger on people's face. You can see it. You can, even on these YouTube streets, you can see how angry people are. What you think is fair, the other person still don't think is fair. And you're still a loser because the other person that you care about, potentially the father of your kid or the mother of your kids, still feel like it's unfair. The best you can get out of that is resentment. There are some men and women who don't play fair. People should stop making blanket statements. Yes, some. Exactly. Thank you. I'm talking as a wife and a mother. I know, which is actually, Rebecca, you know I love you. It's part of the things that I have to struggle with here. Okay? Because there are real women who really want to be fair, want to do the right thing. But then it's missing this part of the equation. It's missing number 2, power. Okay? It's not relevant. I know what you're trying to do. Especially, the other side of it is that if you have sons, you can relate at an emotional level. So it's actually you trying to protect your sons. I get it. But your sons have to live in the real world. And they have to understand how these things work. I had to have a conversation with my sons this afternoon after I've seen so many conversations around this on the internet. I had to. Because it became a little scary. I was like, damn. Men are dragged everywhere. They're dragging themselves. They're everywhere. They're just, it's a struggle, I see intentions. Let me show you where intentions are. That's intentions right there. Good intentions. In the mud. Right? In the mud. Good intentions are cute. I have them too. We all have them for the most part. I don't think anybody with an outright bad intention is hanging out here. They're probably hanging out where there's polarized views and stuff. But nah, good intentions are not good enough when it comes to this real life thing that we're talking about here. They're not good enough, okay? So let me get through some of these comments. I want us to talk. We're going to talk, all right? When you come up, we're going to keep each talking point. I want you to talk as much as you can, but we're going to keep each talking point as short as possible so we can get through as many as possible. Rebecca says, I'm talking as a wife and a mother. I get it. I completely get it. I know, and you mean well. But for this conversation, there are too many people with good intentions in the courts fighting against their loved ones. It's not working. We need more. But one of the Okoye that just got divorced, the wife was not granted any of his property now. Lawyers. if you have good lawyers, see fairness in the fairness straight up in the poto. Power. Okay? Power. If you don't understand power, if you're trying to play fair, you will end up with nothing. Okay? You will end up with nothing. Is it just that adults are emotional or unreasonable? Sometimes don't think of the bigger picture. It's just very messy. It's emotions. Luxury says, let me finish. I was conjoining two comments together. She says, it's realistic for both partners to come to an agreeable agreement without a lawyer. No, it's not realistic. That's why they need a lawyer. In fact, I advise to get a lawyer because you need to protect your interest beyond what you can see. See, sometimes from what you can see, from common sense stuff like, why not just share this and it makes sense, right? And lawyers will help you, first of all, because of their own greed, but also because they can see what you don't see, especially when it comes to those legal documents, and they can see further than you can see. They can help you, and you can still say, no, I don't want to do that, right? I'd rather just do things in a fair way, right? That's what the lawyers are there for, to help you, not to help you make decisions, because they will attempt to help you make decisions, but to help you understand things at a legal standpoint. Because as a normal human being, you're just thinking fairness. Like, thinking fairness is a normal human behavior, right? If you're a good person, right? But in reality, I'm sorry. And I know somebody's going to misinterpret me and say, I say don't play fair. I didn't say that. I need you to understand that in love and war, all is fair already. What you need is competence. Competence is what you need, okay? You need to know what you're doing. Most people don't know what they're doing. It's either they're overreacting, they're caught up in their emotions, or they're overly trying to be holy. None of those things are going to work in the real world, right? It's just that adults are emotional and unreasonable sometimes, and don't think of the bigger picture. They can't. You need to realize they can't. If they're capable of doing it, they would. Maybe they won't. Then they become a bad person. They do exist. Bad people exist. Don't get me wrong. They are not majority of the situation you find in divorce court. They are good people, Christians, that just lack competence. Okay, I see you now, so I'll come to you in a second. All right, let me see. Only Nigeria. It was annoying, but I hope he would do the right thing later. Listen, a man of that caliber, I would hope that he's going to take care of them. Again, some of these lawyers are greedy. They try to get this woman. I think that's what luxury is coming from. They try to get this woman to extract as much as possible and destroy everything, which is literally destroying everything. What I'm saying to the man is, you need to have realistic expectations and move accordingly. How you're going to fight that is not with your emotions. You fight that back with your emotions, you go collect woto. So maybe Paul is the one who had a good lawyer and they didn't use their emotions. He said, no, doesn't make sense. No, he actually owns nothing, right? Some people say that's not fair. Well, not necessarily. We don't know the details to know if saying you don't own anything is fair or not. We don't know that. The problem we're tackling today is the mindset of an average person about marriage today, thinking that fairness is a factor. It's just not, okay? People are in love with you because they're in their emotions. Okay, it's what it is, right? Not because they're just trying to do the right thing. Duty, responsibility is bullshit. They're just in their emotions. They love you. They need to build from there. They actually now need to build a real love, which is, yes, duty, responsibility over time, but also that's a function of your consistency, how you show up, right? If you make it harder for them, they will exit in a heartbeat. Man or woman, especially women, will trigger it eventually. But men, a lot of men left emotionally before they leave physically. I know we know the data, 80% of the time they initiate it. That's just when they pull the trigger at the court, okay? A lot of people left their marriage long before they pull the trigger, okay? If you're not going to have that conversation, stop. Don't bring that to the table as a point of argument, okay? Let me see here. It's not working. Let me see here. Let me bring my sister here so we can now have the conversation. This conversation will not finish today. Lie. That's how you did.
I full ground now, buddy.
I do.
I went for one party. If you see how I was rushing to come back, let me rush and come back so that I will not miss your last show today. Yep.
Yeah.
But you said it all. Actually, we let our emotions just take hold of us, and that's why we don't always win. Honestly speaking. Yeah. Emotions and that's why emotional intelligence is a skill I feel like every couple should have. Because even at the end of the day, if you guys come to an agreement that, you know what, this is not working, I think everybody should go his way. Because of that level of emotional intelligence that you guys have, you'll be able to sit down and discuss how to move ahead, what to do with the kids. And then that's why you see some people are separated, but they have like good relationship with their ex.
And you know the reality with that, not to. The reality with that is going to take one person. So it's going to feel unfair on that one person's side. That person will be emotional. Yeah. Even when that person is barking and they're misbehaving, you will now find yourself in a space where you have to why should it be the only one taking the higher road all the time, right? Why am I the only one always trying to calm you down? Me too, Onigba, right?
But let me tell you something. If you get that right, even if you're the only person, you will know that you're not just doing it for the group, you're also doing it for your own sanity.
For yourself, precisely.
Yeah, so this is for yourself at this point. It's not even like, okay, I'm the one pulling this, I'm the one holding it together, I'm the one always trying to calm you down. No, you're also doing it for yourself, because if you can imagine if both of you will go head to head, just like a bullfight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, right? We don't know what the truth is. Like, okay, let me just go back a little bit to like somebody was saying about Peter. Like that was why before his brother, because nobody knows their true story. Right. What made the two of them fight? That's number one. Then number two, nobody knows what happened between him and his wife. A lot of women will say before that cheating is a deal breaker for them. And so some men are going to that marriage and knowing that my wife has said, if I try this, that's it for me. So now that he started this, we're doing that, it's probably because he doesn't trust himself too.
Yeah.
Because if you trust yourself, there are things that you don't have to worry about. but you don't trust yourself. That's why you're doing that.
Right.
So it's crazy that emotions win at the end of the day, and that's not.
Yeah, it's ruining families. So
It is ruining families.
So that's why we're having the conversation. That's why we're having the conversation. Hold on 1 second. Let me get through some of these comments. I want to make sure we address. I have my sister here too. Just give me 1 second. Let me get through some of these comments. Rebecca says, if it's not working, dialogue, discuss and have agreement to take care of the kids. We can still be good friends for the kids, not ruin his life. That's the goal, right? That's the goal. But I want us to have realistic expectations around what it's going to take to get to that space. Because remember, people are caught up in their emotions. And even you that you're listening to me, you're going to try to practice that emotional thing, and your patience will be tested a lot. I just want you to have realistic expectations around that, right? Not necessarily because they're being evil. They could be evil, but that's minority of the cases. It's just that in reality, when people are fighting, they're fighting. Okay.
They just want to draw blood.
Exactly. They want their own pound of flesh. Who was saying that? What was that? Who was saying pound of flesh? Was it Bimbo IVD? That IVD story. She wanted a pound of flesh. You think that's a joke?
And honestly speaking, Ola, before you go ahead, right? For the reason why sometimes when it comes to this and you find women react this way, like I'm changing my whole identity. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm changing my whole identity for you. I'm doing all of this in the name of like love. And then I've told you already that this is my deal breaker. And you're like, you know what? To hell with you, I'm just going. That means that you don't care. So now that this happened, she wants a pound of flesh. Like, okay, I'm going to hurt him back.
Yeah.
And that's where emotional intelligence comes from. Like, what do you gain from the hurting back? And people say she's hurting his career. She didn't rape that girl. He went to rape the girl. What are you talking about hurting? He's the one hurting his career.
So that's one side of it. I can appreciate that side of it. The side that I'm more particular about is wherever side that man ends up on, right? But wherever side who has the upper hand, who is the one complaining to me, that person has power. I want to show them their power, right? A person that's trying to hurt you back, what kind of power do you have over them? First of all, you need to be aware that they're probably trying to hurt you back. Just the awareness, right?
Yeah.
That from that angle, what is the other person? What would you say that you will complain about that the other person is trying to do? If you dig in deeper beyond they're just being evil, because it's the easy angle to go and say they are just evil. They're just bad people. They just don't want to do the right thing. That's the easiest part to say. I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's what everyone else is saying. What is it that a typical person is not saying if they were in this situation? Let me observe this person. As long as you're safe, don't stay there if you're not safe. But you stay there, you observe where they're coming from. What is their weak point? What is their if they're obviously angry and they're actively trying to be vindictive, that is weak. That is a weak behavior. If you understand that, then we can tackle it from that standpoint.
Well, I use your words, lame. That's a lame behavior. That's how you say it.
Yeah. It's lame behavior. You can see it as a lame behavior. They're weak. It's a weak place. Anybody that's in a marriage with a person that they're trying to get their pound of flesh, that person is not just wicked. Let's say you're right. Let's just assume you're right that they're wicked. They're also weak. Why would they want to stay in a marriage where they want to hurt the other person? That's a weak place. If you understand that, it helps the next direction of things, your next point of action, so that you can calm down. But if you think they have strength, they're just trying to get you, they want to hurt you, you become the weak. You overreact, right? Because what do hurt people do? You hurt people. Because it makes sense to save a person that's trying to hurt you. It doesn't make sense to save a person that's trying to hurt you. Let me finish. Let me just go because they are coming. They keep going. I just want to get to a point and make sure I engage them a little bit, and then we'll continue the conversation. Luxury says, "Man of prestige, I get you don't agree, but I definitely believe some." Well, you just agree with me by saying some now. That's a big deal. Some women don't play fair because they definitely know that the court will favor them more than the women. They know that, but that rhetoric that the court is always favoring women, it is true, but there are reasons why it's true. Mute for a second, Natu.
Oh, sorry.
Background, yeah. Why is the court seems fairer to women? We need to dig in through that. We can't just say it like it's not men that built that system. It's men that built that system. There's a reason for it, right?
Hey, Ola, can I?
Yeah. Hey, Tima, how are you?
Hi, Nato. I want to stop you right there where you are with the one of the commenters saying that maybe the courts do favor women.
Yes.
So, like in the state where I am, right? Before COVID, it's like if you are in divorce and you have children, they try to go towards the sharing custody because they believe that it's a individual right of a father and the mother to make sure they have equal time with their children, right?
Right.
Yes. Post COVID, however, there was a rules that changed to it won't matter whether it's a father or a mother. They want the kids. They want one of the parents to have full custody. This is post COVID. Because what they discover was during the COVID for parents who were sharing custody, it was so difficult, and they realized that was from the result of that is that detrimental of the children.
For the children, so it's about the children, basically.
So it's about the children. So if they're in most cases, unless something happened with the mother or in a situation where the mother is not capable, they prefer for mother to have the full custody of the children.
So Mbasi. So speaking of fairness, right? Let me ask you this question. Let's be fair, right? Since that is a factor, we know that the court cares about the children. At least on the surface, that's what it seems, right?
Right.
Since that's the case, right? Is it fair to say yes, because we know that it's the mothers that's typically taking care of the children? Of course, the mother most of the time end up with the main custody of the children. Is that fair to say?
So you see, in that situation, it's not necessarily that they said because they think that the mother is the one that usually take care of the children, because that's not always true for every. It's not true for every.
Is it mostly true?
Mostly, yes.
The primary care of the kids falls on the mother for the most part, right?
For the most part, yes.
Okay, so here's why I needed to spell that out. That is the underlying reason for what Luxury is saying here. We're not saying she's wrong, but there's a reason. Primary care of most babies, at least from a surface standpoint or from expectation standpoint, falls on the woman. You can argue that some men, they take care of their care mother. That becomes an argument. That's fine. Then we have to assess case by case. But for the most part, we know, like, why we don't need to go back and forth about that. From the society we're coming from, it's true. It's the mothers that's expected to, But yeah, sorry to cut you there, Jerry. But that's the more reason for that Luxury, just so you know. It sounds, again, being fair to men to say that on the surface, but not necessarily. As a man, I don't necessarily want primary custody or care of my kids. No, I like to do when I feel like doing it. I like to do it because I want to do it, not because it's expected.
Right.
There's a difference between you're expected to do it or not. Go ahead.
Right. I just want to say something, and I want Basi to chip into it. Right.
No, you guys wait. Just let me get through this a little bit.
I don't want to lose my train of thought.
Oh, write it down now. Write it down. Real quick.
I'm making swear.
Look at you. Write it down, Jerry. Divorce court, she said, beautiful, by the way. Favor them more than the men. Divorce court is a business. Yeah, government organizations and agencies are a business. Yes, nothing new there. They're supposed to sustain the whole thing. And yes, they make money, even a better money from the business too. As in like bribery money. Yeah, completely granted. Gorex, the woman will eventually get the property through the children. Bones said that, okay? Yes, for the obvious reason we mentioned earlier. Especially if you are reacting with your emotions, gentlemen, calm down, okay? That's not, your power is not in overreacting with your emotions. That's what I'm saying. If we're telling men that the world don't play fair, can we channel the same energy to women when they complain that men don't act fair because it takes two to tango? Let me give you a newsflash. Women don't play fair when it comes to relationships. I don't know if that's it. Wait, unmute your mic, ladies. Women don't play fair when it comes to romantic relationships already. Am I wrong? Mbasi, am I wrong?
You are cutting up on my side. Say that again.
Women don't play fair when it comes to romantic relationships. Am I wrong? Regardless.
No, you're not. What? You're not. I mean,
what you mean?
No, listen. That's all.
You see why I say unrealistic expectations now? It's do I need to preach to women to play unfair? They already play unfair. That's what I'm trying to say. This is the lane of men. God has given men some strength and is emotional control, and they are losing it right now. Women are supposed to be in their feminine, feel free, feel safe, and then we create the structure and security, the masculine energy around that. We're not the same thing. This is not your job. The equality, fairness thing does not work. This is a relationship, a romantic relationship. What you need is to complement each other, not playing equal. You will never, write this down, you will never, ever, ever be equal. It might feel equal. It's a feeling. That's because you're having a good time in that relationship. But if somebody start to feel like something is off and they start to overreact, then you will learn, then you will chop pepper.
You know, when you are seeking for equality in the relationship, you know, it's gonna come with a lot of stress, because, like you said, I mean, if I get what I want from a relationship and you are getting what you want from the relationship,
that's the goal.
That's balance. That will be what need to happen in the relationship.
That's the goal. Yes.
You get what you want.
Because what you want is not what I want.
Exactly. We don't want the same thing. We don't want the same thing at all. Like, I mean, not all the time. Maybe that we might have similarity of things that we.
No. At an emotional level, we never want the same thing.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. I agree with you.
Because we both want Lamborghinis doesn't mean we want the same thing at an emotional level. The Lamborghinis could be sleeping right outside, right there in the parking driveway, and I feel good that my wife can drive Lamborghini, but it's not really the Lamborghini that I want. You see, equality in the poto, two different things. One is Lamborghini, one is feeling good that I'm able to take care of my family and give them anything they want. I need you to start thinking about this at a deeper level, because this is what plays out. This is what's driving the forces here. You're not fighting flesh. Marriage is nobody's mate. You're not fighting tangibles. They're unseen things. This is why, again, when you say fairness or equality, exactly what are you measuring? If you can't tell me precisely what you're measuring, this is where imagine the people that are caught up in the emotions. These are the problems, right? How do we find out what we're measuring? How do we find out what we want? Well, it takes a lot of listening and patience. Patience. Why do I say patience? Because it's tough. It's not easy. That means you want to say something. You want to tackle it. Me too. Can I say something? No, but you said something. Can I say something? And you're in the poto. You end up in divorce court if that's how you move. Especially if you're the man doing that.
You talk about lack of self-control, and when you have that, it brings your weaknesses right to the surface, and whoever has the power can see through you, and they will use that against you right there.
Exactly.
So you gotta know how to self-control yourself in any situation, just to make sure that you protect yourself and in a way that and manage your expectation, like you always say.
Manage your expectations. I mean? Yes. Let me see here. She said, can we channel the same energy to women when they complain that men don't act fair because it takes two to tango? No, it doesn't take two to tango. It takes two to tango eventually. It takes one person to lead the dance. It actually takes one person to say, may I? I've given that example here before. Say, may I? Right? Then you feel safe with them, and then you can tango, and then you go like this, and you go like this, and you're dancing, and then it feels equal. It feels equal. But somebody better be leading that dance, because if somebody is not guiding you, your legs will be crossing each other. That's the reality about tango. If you don't know what you're doing, people need to know what they're doing. Even if that could be true, you need to know what you're doing. How do you know what you're doing if we're going to completely discount the emotional aspect of this stuff, when literally it's driven by emotions, right? So yes, it takes two to tango. It doesn't take two to start tangoing. You need leadership. It does not negate partnership. It's not mutually exclusive to each other. In fact, you need partnership, because what kind of dumb man, a slow man, will say he doesn't want his wife to be a partner? Oh, sorry, I forgot. HAKIMI. But I'll leave it alone. Okay. Of course, you need your wife to be a partner, but you need leadership. Okay. Anything that has two heads is a monster. Okay. In anything in life, not just family, oh, he's pushing men that men must. No, I didn't push men. It could be, if you want to be the leader, as long as it's an agreement, both of you. Knock yourself out. But there's got to be a leader. There's got to be somebody that the responsibility in an unfair way falls on when everything is bad. When everything goes bad, who is the person that the responsibility of that goes bad? Who is the person I will look at and say, what happened? If that's two people, no wonder. It's no wonder. I can't hold anybody accountable. Oh no, but it's us. So like, oh, okay, that's why. That's why the modern people are struggling with marriage. They're active competition, right? Lola can't do that to Peter, never. She could. God forbid. She could. That's why I said Peter may be speaking from a place of naivety too. She could. God forbid though. Okay? Nobody plays fair when you find yourself in that space. The best thing is to nurture your relationship on a day-to-day basis. Never mind lasting till 20 years. Just today. Can you figure today out? Figure today out. Then you wake up in the morning, you do tomorrow too. You take care of your partner every single day like that. Stop looking for fairness. Start looking for opportunities to give. Start looking for opportunities to give. If that person is so weak and they're disrespectful, that's an opportunity to give. But probably you didn't see it because you're like, why is she disrespectful like that? She was like then you overreact. And then 3 months from now, you're in a divorce court. Oh, so you're asking me to be dormant? I don't know how. Listen, if you feel like you're being dormant in that relationship, you really should not be in it. That's actually my main point. Okay, you probably should back off of it completely for now. So I'm gonna leave it at that for now. And just one last, because luxury. This is I'll call this luxury class. Shout out to Information Man. I see you, brother. Sorry, I didn't notice you were here. She said also modern women should also be ready to submit to their men for them to lead, because most of these women don't, and men should know how to lead as well. I see all your caps there, but I can see through your generalization. But I really want to appreciate it because we need you, luxury, to balance the conversation, because you're right, sometimes the conversation is quite unbalanced, but that balance, please don't take it into a relationship. You don't need it. You need to complement each other. But yeah, let me entertain you, my guest here.
Hola.
Yes, who is talking?
You know, I've said yes, Nato.
Talk to me.
You know, I've said it before, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, God has already given us the code. God has given us the cheat code. There is no woman, except she's a witch. There is no woman that you're going to marinate inside love that you cannot turn around the way you want to turn around. I'm a woman, and I'm telling you from a woman perspective.
Okay.
Once a woman knows that you love her,
you absolutely not.
Once a woman knows that you love her, you have her interest at hand, you have her back, she can call you anytime, anywhere she is. Like, you're not gonna be hiding your money. I think the gentleman
and probably Luxury and Rebecca will want me to tell you if she's not evil.
So the issue of that submission, modern day women submission, blah blah blah, is not the issue. The issue there is that our men are not being, our boys that are growing up now are not being trained. Our parents are not being transparent with us about marriage and life. And so now when we are into like a new space of the whole marriage thingy and how people want to run, and people say, oh, you know, you and your wife can do stuff together, you can bring money together and do the house, da 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 da. And then you still have to understand that you are the leader.
Right.
And let me tell you, women want to be led. We don't want to structure.
So I believe first part of what you said, right? That women want to submit naturally. They're looking for
a reason.
For a reason to submit. They're looking for somebody that will earn that submission. I believe that. In fact, I'll take even further that even men, where did the phrase servant leadership came from, right? Even men are looking for, as long as the value is in it for me to submit, right?
Chicken now.
As long as there's a value in it for me to, but this idea that I must submit because the value is just some kind of fairy tales duty and responsibility somewhere. It's 2023. You know they work. It's not going to work.
Somebody cannot just go have a raggedy ass apartment and tell you to pay $3,000 a month.
Precisely what we're talking about is that it's not working. So there's something we need to learn. It's not working. Just because you're a man doesn't mean a woman will submit to you. Yes, that was probably true 40, 50 years ago. It's no longer true. But even back then, it was earned. There was value in a woman submitting from a place of duty, responsibility. Maybe they were educated about that value. Maybe somebody was patient with that generation, right? Now, the other side of your argument, which is men are the reason or something like that. That one is a little tricky too. Okay, that one's a little tricky too. I'll just say this: there's incompetence everywhere. Okay,
I agree.
There's incompetence everywhere. There are women that don't realize they have the power. That there's massive, ridiculous amount of power inside of submission. See, if listen to me carefully. If a bunch of let's call them lame men, they're on the internet and they're saying, women do submit, women do submit. Guess where your power is, ladies? Make him feel like you're submitting to him. It doesn't have to be a real submission. I know what that looks like in real life in your relationship. But if it's just a feeling that you're a submissive woman, that's your power. It's not you're supposed to. I'm telling you, like, forget supposed to and all this fairness nonsense. I'm trying to give you another angle. That's your power. He will worship you. Literally, he will submit to you. It's incompetence everywhere. And it's incompetence at an emotional level. And for men in particular, black men, power. Where is your power in this? You ever say, wait, I'm confused. Something is going on. I'm confused. Disarray everywhere. I feel like my wife is disrespectful to me. Where in this equation I'm confused? Where in this equation is my power? You ever ask yourself that question? I mean, you say, why is he being unfair? Why is she being unfair to me right now? I would guess that the latter is true for most of you. Why is that person being unfair to me? Why don't you do your own part so I can do my own part? That's what you're saying. And that's why. And guess what? It's not just you. Everybody else that's end up in divorce court. Let me say this. Majority of you are going to end up divorced or you already went through it. It's not your fault. It's just where we are as a generation. Okay? But maybe we should get a clue. There's something we don't know. There's something beyond common sense talking points that we don't know. I don't know it either. I'm saying there is something. We need to start unpacking it. When I say emotional intelligence, I don't say that somebody just knows it. I'm saying you need to remain a student of it for life. Because this thing that I'm talking about is easier said than done. It's a moving target. So whatever I told you yesterday is probably obsolete today. It's unfair. I know it's unfair to all of us. So guess what that is? 2 get 2. Yeah? Go ahead. Wait, let me read this while you're still waiting to go ahead. I believe if a woman built together with their spouse and she was there with him when he had nothing to, when he has a lot, she deserves that 50% of the asset. That's too myopic. That's too surface level. Marriage doesn't work like that. You're doing life with a person, not a job. I don't care if she has nothing or they have nothing or it was equal. It's not relevant.
Yeah, you know what, Ola? This commenter, like, I mean, it's describing marriage like some kind of way you go and put in the application and say,
I understand.
And say, yeah, you can work. I mean, seriously, like, anyway, go ahead.
I understand luxury.
I also doubt if the person is married.
Yeah, I don't think so. But maybe she is. There are mothers, Rebecca said earlier, there are mothers I've seen on the internet since yesterday. Mothers who have a pinpoint attached to their sons who are also thinking at this level because they are attached to the conversation emotionally at this from their son's standpoint. So
but my point is that if the mothers that are saying that on the internet, if their husbands, if their mother-in-laws did that to them, would they be okay with that?
That's a conversation, right? Because when I was having a conversation with my son today, right, my sons, both of them, I was having a conversation with them today. I said, go and read this stuff on the internet. They came, because they can't wait to get out of my face. Because they don't like when I preach. But I have to preach because I don't know what's going on out there. So I said, I said, narrate it to me what happened. It's like, well, they told me everything that's on the news. I said, okay, so what do you think do you think she's a gold digger? I was like, let me put it in perspective for you. I said, this is it. God forbid something happened to me and mommy, right? And then we're talking about your mom right now. and your mommy says, and your mommy says, no. This I first of all said, your mom, you end up doing well in the future. You become very rich. You have a fortune, and your mom says, put everything under my name so that your wife doesn't have access to anything. Do you think that's wise? Both of them said no. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. I was like, okay, good. Let's try it again like this.
That's funny.
So then the next one, I was like, okay, so let's look at it like this. I was like, grandma, but they just came back from grandma today, my mother. And I was like, okay, so imagine like this, something, God forbid, happens between me and mommy, and then mommy finds out that everything we own is under grandma's name, and then I have nothing. And they was like, oh, and then their face kind of like take a dramatic change, right? See, people they attach onto these conversations from where they can relate at an emotional level, right? Until you point it out for them that wait, what if this was your daughter? Now, let me tell you something about emotion. Emotions are nobody's mate. If you don't actually have a daughter, you might still have a hard time connecting to what I'm saying. We can just argue for no reason. You'd be like, no, I should protect my son because there's this women in this street and they're looking to steal people's money. God forbid there's a story of one of your cousins, of a woman who actually destroyed them like that. That's the only thing you can comprehend. That's what you've seen. That becomes a generalized idea of what happens out there for you. So I understand it. It depends on where you're coming from. I think the conversation needs to be had now. Right? We need to have the conversation. We can't shy, because I was on another conversation earlier on Clubhouse, and the young lady kind of got frustrated with a bunch of the men on the side of she's just a good leader. She's just a good guy. I was like, no, if you're organizing this kind of conversations, you're just gonna have to be patient. A lot of men feel this way because, let's be honest, the divorce rates are crazy out there, right? So if it's crazy, naturally people will feel a need to protect themselves. The women say, oh, keep your own money, just hide your own money on the side, which is terrible. I hear people say that, like, have your own money. I said, I hear you, it sounds cute on the surface. Have your own money. That's how you want to approach marriage. Continue. Yeah, continue.
Can I say something? I think people really get caught up with their emotions.
I know you didn't see that. Don't worry. Continue. I can hear you. Continue. I can hear you.
Okay. They get caught up with their emotions that they throw the legacy out of the window, because now the mother is concerned about her sons, right? The son now, they forget about the grandchildren that involved between these two. Mm-hmm. So it's like the woman is the one that's holding on. I mean, I'm guessing she will be the one that is going to be the happy. She said
if anything happens to him, she's on the surface. We don't know the details of the financial structure.
Exactly. Right.
But on the surface, from what people are saying, it sounds like she's just the beneficiary of everything.
The mother or the wife?
The mother.
Yeah, but I'm saying that. Yeah, I'm saying that now everybody get caught up in that. They forget the HAKIMI legacy, which is his children.
Yeah.
Because
you
understand what I'm trying to say? Like, people really forget the legacy here, which are the children that's between these two. Because at the end of the day, the woman is the one that is raising HAKIMI, both of them legacy. And whatever it is that this woman is raising them with is what's going to show up in the future. And that sounds unfair to the men. This is some of the points that they hear that triggers them, right? It's like, what about me? I'm a firewood. What about what I've been doing, right? This is why I keep saying, is you and her, you and him against the world. This, I don't know how to say this. There's very, very subtle ways that we're putting a division between a man and a wife, starting from before you actually meet a person and marry them. And these are the driving forces in marriages today. Like, protect yourself. Fear is a powerful motivator, right? When you move from a place of fear, it's a very powerful motivator. It drives everything you do.
Faith destroys too.
You said what?
And it destroys too.
It destroys. Faith is something you have to be intentional about. Faith is what did the Bible say about faith? I don't want to get religious. The evidence of things that, like you're it's
Not
almost like
sin,
it's like you're
but hope
you're
for.
deluding yourself, right? It's like you're deluding yourself, but that's precisely what we do in life. In reality, we wake up in the morning, we get on the way, trusting that everything will be all right. That's what we do anyway. So, but when we ask us to do it in marriage, we have a problem doing it, right? So fear. So yeah, we need. It's a lot of work, but we need to start unpacking everything that we say to ourselves that will make the other person feel like they're less than, either the man or the woman, right? Even when you have a good reason, especially if you have a good reason, maybe you have experience or you know somebody who has bad experience that have gone through something that makes you want to protect, you now have to be intentional about trust, about trusting a partner or staying away from marriage altogether, because it's not going to work outside of that, right? Because it's just not going to work. You trust them, you're going to be snoring next to them every night. You're deluding yourself, you're deceiving yourself, thinking you can protect yourself. The best way to protect yourself is to understand that humans have patterns. Humans have things they care about. They have things they care about. If they have things they care about, your job is to find out what they care about and nurture it. Take care of them. Take care of them from that angle. Generally, they won't come back and hurt you, because there's no benefit in hurting you for them. Remember, you're bringing value to them. But if all your energy is going towards protecting yourself from them, we already know that you're deluding yourself, because you can't really protect yourself. It's unrealistic. The most you can do with protecting yourself is financially. If you have a good solid prenup, you're right. But the problem is that majority of people engaged in these conversations are hopeless romantics, including the men, especially the men. They fall in love with their small head, and then they expect to be that one who can be that pragmatic. No, you can't. You're always engaged in conversations about marriage and romantic love. You're not that guy. You need to learn how romantic relationships work so that you can make it work for yourself. Protecting yourself is unrealistic. You're delusional. The courts, like Luxury said later on, is a business. They will drag you if you don't know what you're doing. The person that you love the most right now, who is like in love too right now, if they ever find themselves in a space where they feel like you're abusive or better off, you could get dragged. They won't play fair. Don't buy into that. Luxury will not play fair if she ends up in a situation we're talking about. She won't. What are we talking about? She would think she is, because she would draw it on paper. Spreadsheets. Yes. You're not going to feel like she is playing fair, because that spreadsheet, poto. Like what? What about this? What about this other day? What about the day that I cleaned the diaper? See, when a man cleans the diaper once, to him, he thinks he's doing it every day. I want you to get it straight. Mental, emotional. When a man changes diaper one time, he's basically assumed like, wait, I change diaper every day. Maybe I'm stretching a little bit, but that's how he feels, because it's not his thing.
No, that's how it feels, Ola. You're right.
It's not a thing. Right. So you always remember that few days that he's changed diaper and you are here drawing spreadsheets. Equal, this is equal, this is reasonable. And it's like, no, that's not reasonable. You're pulling the rug from under me. Most men that go through divorce, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts at a deep level that you might not be able to comprehend as a woman. So you're not helping by overly pampering us like we're your son. Men need to know the reality. If you find yourself in a space where your woman feels like you're abusive, you go collect. It doesn't matter how nice or feminine she is today or submissive today.
Or how submissive she is.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These are the realities. Am I saying all women are evil? Am I saying there's no evil women who just out to hurt you? They are. For the most part, that's not the case. For the most part, you guys are just being people try to figure things out, and you got lost in the source of things. Life happened. You feel like somebody's trying to take your children away. Now she decides that she's fine. Remember midlife crisis conversation? She wants to move to Florida, all the way from Maine, inside cold. And you're like, why are you taking my children away from me? Well, I have full custody. Well, we need to go to the court. Well, we can't stop her from making a move. God help you. You find a judge who is more skilled, because the judges are humans too. If they're on your side, they will help you. For the most part, I'm telling you, the system is built to protect the vulnerable. That starts with children. Anything that's in the children's favor, that means usually the mother.
Correct. And honestly speaking, if you check in reality, there's nobody that can take care of a child more than the mother. And the reason why is because she is the person that carried that child. She's the one that knows the pain she went through before having that child. So
you are doing it again, no. You know I'm a man. You are doing it again. See?
Wait now. Let me finish.
You're doing it again.
I'm talking about the people that are saying that the system is favoring women. Okay, if they decide to twist it now, let me favor the men and let the men have the children, can they do what the women are doing?
But did you notice how I just got caught up in my emotions? Because I feel like, did you notice? That's the reality. like say you the wine me.
I'm just asking.
You know what? I'm with.
No, I get what you're saying, but this is, I'm trying to demonstrate in reality. You will feel that way because you can also relate with that, and it's true. Women do sacrifice a lot, but I don't think women are all the way connected to how much sacrifice a man who wants to take care of his family, who brings the what do you call it? It brings the cheese home every day, right? I don't think women are all the way connected to the reality of that, and I don't think they're supposed to be. I think we're just supposed to be aware and be and try to be emotionally intelligent.
I think I had a conversation with that. Go ahead, Lassie.
No, I was gonna say, there's emotional guidelines as far as, as a mother to children, like you want to make sure that you are not putting all your fear and insecurity on your own children. For you to know that each one of them, their own individual self, like one is not, you cannot compare one to the other, and to understand that when you having these children, you have it with somebody, you pick somebody.
Yes.
Whether
on both sides.
Like both of you pick each other.
Yes.
To make these children. So if things are going down the drain, remember, before you point that finger to the other person, like he is this or she is that. Yeah. I want you to put that finger to yourself first, because I was having conversation with a friend yesterday who is struggling with her 4-year-old because the father, I've never seen or talked to that 4-year-old. Okay. They only they meet one time, pregnancy happened, and boom, the baby came, and he never said. Now she's so upset about that, and I said, listen, she's confused about whether or not to let the child talk to the father. And I said, when you pick this father, you make the baby with, out of all the men in the whole wide world, you make that baby with that person. I said, I want, and the reason why I told her that, because I want her to take it from her own side. Like, forget about the father, forget about that, about him. Make your child
do the work.
Have, yes, do the work. Thank you.
Yeah, it's easier. It's easier to point fingers. It's always easy to point fingers. It's always easy to point fingers. But to just look at yourself and say, what could I have? How can I make this better? And it's even harder when the other person is being evil too, because people, I'm telling you, people are mean when they end up in these positions. I don't care how perfect they were in the beginning. They're going to feel mean. I'm just being honest with you, right? In fact, the more better they were, if they were such a good person in the beginning, the more it will hurt, because you never expected it, right? If you kind of knew that they were moving reckless like that, you expected it. You're like, I knew it was evil. I knew it was going to try to hurt me, right? Believe me, the pain of that is not even as much, right? Let me see here. Obas, hopefully Obas is still here. Obas Agbatutu, my guy. I can see that it's a guy already. It says, Ola, are you of the opinion that HAKIMI should have been a sitting duck waiting for the wife to take advantage of divorce to be rich? Absolutely not. I'm of the opinion that why is he married to a person he feels so badly to protect himself from? Yeah. What do you guys think about this question?
So it's like there's a situation, the question of he's young and she's older, right?
Sorry, Ochie. You did there. I didn't know you were there, Chie. But go ahead, Embassy.
Hi, Chie. No, I was saying that, the opinion of, he's young and she's older, right? And at the end of the day, this particular boy have family, he has parents, right? He picked this woman, even with his mother is there. Maybe they told him not to do it, but he went ahead and do it anyway. Or maybe it's just from his own because he fell in love or he get manipulated, whatever the case. Yeah, whatever the people might think of it, the thing is they choose both each other. Both of them choose each other. And again, if we can flip the situation where the woman is younger and the man is older, they pick each other. You see, that's the point. Like both of them pick each other. So whatever the situation that is happening right now, he can use all the excuses in the world of I'm young or she took advantage of me, this and that. At the end of the day,
he was groomed. Somebody said he was groomed.
Well, even if he's groomed, all of that, it can happen either way. Well, I lost my thought. Go ahead.
Oh, but anyway, the point here is that the wife taking advantage of you again. This is going to be a tough work. You're still thinking about wife and husband in the sense of they are there to take advantage of you.
He's not the first person to marry an older woman.
Oh, it's disgusting. She's too far in age. She's 12 years apart.
How old was Dwayne Wade and Gabriel Union? They're 10 years apart.
Who?
So why Gabriel Union and Dwayne Wade? They're 10 years apart.
Well, Dwayne Wade was not 19 years old.
Why is it disgusting? But why is it not disgusting when an older man marries a younger girl? How old is Ice-T and his wife?
Who said it's not disgusting?
What's the age difference? No, what's the age difference between Ice-T and his wife?
No, it's still disgusting. We're talking particularly 19 years old, 31 to 19 years old.
She was already a star when he married her. I want to believe he even used her to shine.
Okay, let me ask you like this.
So let me say something, right? Don't you guys? Let's flip it. See, there are a lot of risks attached to football that people are not looking at, and this woman took a risk. What if in his first year something happened and he had to go to injury for like a year or two or anything, or something happens? We're not praying, God forbid, right? Are they going to call her go and she's going to be the one to look at where Allah is looking at me? Allah, I'm not talking bad. That's it. I'm not saying anything. I'm muting myself.
Wait. Continue. Finish your thoughts, I beg. Finish your thoughts. Finish your thoughts now. And that's it.
I am muting myself. Next person.
Okay, all right. Listen, I think it's disgusting, even if it's a man, particularly because he is young. But I understand. I thought you were going in the angle that these superstars, when they're 19 and they're just freshly signed, they get exposed to the industry, they meet other superstars. I get that, right? It's not that deep when I say disgusting. I just think it's like, I don't know, it's far apart, especially for a 19-year-old. He didn't know what he was doing, right? He didn't know what he was doing. So I can understand when people start to call her a gold digger. Small, I can understand it, but if she had 2 kids with him, yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to pass quickly like that. Let me see. Somebody just came back. Okay, Chiye, how far now? Chiye, how's your weekend going?
Oh man, very busy. I was doing some yard work. I just came inside and I'm in the kitchen.
Okay.
I think I saw Rebecca saying hi to me. Kiss.
Hi,
what do you think?
Hi, Embassy. So,
what do you think about this question on the screen?
Oh, let me see.
Are you of the opinion that HAKIMI should have been a sitting duck waiting for the wife to take advantage of divorce to be rich?
My take on that is, in a marriage, right? Well, first of all, everything is like, when it comes to divorce, everything is a negotiation. I mean, it could actually, when it comes to love and war, like, it could go both ways. Like when the Williams, on top of the husband was cheating on her with the mistress for 15 years, put her on through so much crap. She was so sick, she nearly died. She still had to be, she was paying him alimony, a really big chunk for a minute, until she lost her she lost her job with the talk show.
Mm-hmm.
And when she lost the job, and so Kevin and his ex-wife were busy just milking the money, just chilling, waiting for the money to come through. So when the money stopped coming through, he started going to court.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to do surgery, I need to do XYZ, I need to do this, I need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, what saved Wendy was that when they signed that court document, it said as long as she still has the talk show, right? So because she no longer had the talk show because she was sick,
Mm-hmm.
The alimony stopped coming in, and then she doesn't even have access to her funds because the Wells Fargo froze all her accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Like really frustrating her, because Wells Fargo was feeling like somebody's trying to take advantage of her. Now back to the question. The thing is that it's not fair to be going in. I guess I'm using this term loosely, but you're going into the marriage already with the mindset that, I mean, to me, like, you don't trust this person.
Yeah, like why?
Off the bat, so you shouldn't have even met this person. What I think makes sense is when it comes to marriage, both partners had roles that they played in the marriage,
right?
One way or the other.
Yes.
The mother, the wife rearing the kids. Men will never comprehend
Make sure you are staying close to where your signal is stronger.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. I said, unfortunately, it won't be. Men cannot really comprehend the sacrifice. Both parties make sacrifices. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But men will not comprehend the sacrifices that women go through with holding it down, bringing your offspring to this world, giving the life while you're out there working, making the bread. She's holding down the front at home, contributing in whatever way she's contributing. Be it that she has a little side gig, be it that she's rearing the kids by herself while she's home. So she should be able to get something,
right?
Like
something.
She should be able to get, like a fair share in that marriage.
Yeah.
Now, I hear some people say, oh, they would get prenup. There are different schools of thought. Some people feel a certain type of way about that. If that's what he decides to do, if that's the way he decides to go, and they both agree to sign based on the terms and conditions, fine. That would be that he protected himself. But taking everything, holding it off to your mother, not even to your kids, your mother, no, that's wrong.
You know what? Thank you, Chinye, for saying that, because again, that's what I was saying. Like, people are really, they forget about the children. Like even himself is not thinking of his own children. You see what I mean? Like he trusted his mother more than the person that he chose to spend his lifetime with. Like the person that you
by you before everybody. So this is someone that you
how convenient
trust your life with.
Yeah, that's in addition to the fact that that's a terrible way of protecting assets.
Exactly.
Yeah, even the idea that relatives are the ones to protect your asset is just dumb and foolish.
And everybody's looking for their own interest. Even the mother is protecting her child, protecting herself. She forget about her grandchildren here. And at the end of the day, it's like, regardless of the wealth, amount of debt that they might have, the children is gonna be who they're gonna be in the world anyway. But the thing is, these are not ordinary children. They are born with a silver spoon in their mouth, so they need to live accordingly. I don't think people really can comprehend the damage that can come from this tug of war of wealth, of this is mine and it's not yours. When he was doing everything he was doing, that woman hold it down, even hold the children down, do whatever she need to do at her own end. Even though she might not making money, while you able to make all the money and acquire all the property and this and that, it's too much.
I mean, honest, when it comes to the whole divorce thing, you know, like when you go, I'm about to say, you've gone through it. I've gone through it. When you get into it, there's something that happened. You're like, whoa, I didn't even know it goes down like this. You know, like in my situation, my retirement was split in half. You know,
girl.
They will tell you you're the exception. They will tell you you're the exception.
Okay, so and then there's some other things that we negotiated on. So I don't think they're just gonna slash everything in half. And
Yeah, that's not how it works.
That would be some type
that's not how it works. Yeah.
And she deserves to get some things. Like, come on now.
She is beautiful. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she is a really gorgeous woman.
Oh my God.
So, but
no wonder he got lost in there.
How much older did you guys say she's than
she's 36 now. He's 24.
Oh wow.
Well, yeah.
How old is the president of France and his wife?
Who?
Let's go there.
Who?
The president of France and his wife?
Macron.
Oh Lord. We don't even know. It's like maybe 40, like 30, 20 years apart.
All right.
Here's what I'm trying to say, Natu. If my son comes to me with a 12-year older woman, I will look sad.
But Ola, let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this. At one point, because I was commenting that on in the comments a while ago, like we as a mother, right? You are doing everything to train your child to become an adult.
Right.
At one point, because for me that would be very exhausting for me to be adulting an adult. That would be an exhausting life I don't wish on myself or anybody. Because once I raise you to the point, it's like we need to trust them enough to know that you've done what you're supposed to do as a mother to a child, and for them to pick it up from there and continue adopting yourself and not having to feed the needs or that.
But honestly, right? I don't feel like the mother liked the girl. I don't think the mother liked the girl. That's why she supported her son, putting everything in her name.
Ladies, any one of you have sons? You all have sons, right?
I have 2 boys and a girl.
I have one.
You have one.
I have imaginary sons.
Okay. All right. There's a high likelihood. Do you want son, Natu? You want sons, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I did.
Okay. There's a high likelihood you will be called a monster in-law in the future.
No, Ola, absolutely not. No.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell. Let me tell you. Just listen. The reason, he's not my brother, he's my cousin, right? But we see him as our big brother, and I always talk about him. Anytime you see me talk, I see my brother. That's him. My brother at some point told my mom that he felt that he's adopted because of how much love we show his wife. Do you understand? Like my brother's wife is more family to me at this point than my brother. So my brother get upset about that. But that's me. Because you know what? Yeah, and that's how the whole family treats her. And because that's how I believe it should be. And that's how I was hoping.
I pray that it remains that way. If you haven't read our book, you might not have a full context of what I am saying.
But let me tell you something. If my son marries a woman, if my son brings a girl, like first of all, what's your own point of not liking a girl that your son brings?
When you say it that way, you're right. When you say not liking, you're right. What if she doesn't think she does not like? That's not how she sees out what is going on, right? She's seeing whatever is going on, because these issues don't come up unless there's crisis, right? The way she's seeing the crisis, she doesn't see it as I don't like her. Of course, you on the outside of her feelings, you might feel like, why is it that she doesn't like her? Yeah, exactly. And we don't get to argue with you.
You like her, and you're not gonna make your son protect his wife.
There's more to it, Lee. There's more to it.
That's what I'm saying.
Another thing.
I'm not gonna be that kind of mother, I beg.
You know what?
I pray that you won't be. I pray that you won't be.
Another thing is this. And you know, I'm not of that age yet, but I'm praying that when I get to the point where I become a mother-in-law to another daughter, it is not my responsibility. I'm not looking for her to like me. Really, I hope I won't be looking to the wife of my child like she has to like me. I hope she does. And again, my responsibility as a mother-in-law, as Natu said, is for me to spoil as much I can spoil hell out of her, and I hope she will receive it the way I'm giving it. You know, again,
I make my child happy.
Yeah, there's no power struggle.
I just want my child to be happy.
Let me say this. So whatever it looks like to you when you make your child happy, when you don't come off as a mother that's like encroaching on your daughter-in-law's territory, right? Whatever that looks like to you could be precisely why she will resent you. Can you comprehend what I just said?
If that's the case, if that's the case, I, as a person, I have the responsibility, and that is to look at myself and step down from whatever it is and figure out something else, or just, you know what, I wish you well in your journey.
So wait, leave me and Nimbasi alone for a second, okay? Wait. What if she doesn't tell you? You just couldn't tell. You just know something is off. 4 years later, before you even were able to scratch the surface of what's going on, you just know that this girl, the way you are interpreting what's going on, you as a mother-in-law, is that why is it that this girl doesn't like me, right? And she doesn't tell you exactly what is going on within her. Maybe because she couldn't tell you. Maybe she's just this girl. Who knows, right? But she doesn't think you like her, right? And she doesn't tell you till 4 years later, because she just told me you have a responsibility. But she doesn't tell you. You can't even tell what's going on, right? How would you handle that?
I'm not gonna handle it in any way. Like, honey, if something that you want me to do for you or change, or I need to do that I'm not doing, or I'm doing too much, or I'm doing too less, please let me know. I hope I will have that wisdom. It's just my wish. Not that I'm not there yet. Again, I understand the aspect of I'm talking from a person who is not a mother-in-law yet. Okay.
Right.
But I'm hoping, like, when I get to that point, I will be able to go within myself, like I always like to do. Because when two people are having a power struggle on something,
right?
First of all, go inside yourself first, because there's a comfort in that, and see what is it that I'm doing too much or I'm doing too less. And if whatever it is that you are doing is not being received the way you feel, or is hurting them, then you step back. And
yes, there are some. I'll say this and let everybody else go. Right, there are some women who are just, the way it usually starts is completely innocent, very innocent. You didn't know you've offended somebody. They're not speaking up. They're not using their words. You start to think it looks like this person doesn't like you. They are thinking the same thing. They're not. They also tend not to be confrontational, but yet these issues are there, right? That's the way it usually starts. Eventually, if nothing is done about it, it will get into a space where it becomes confrontational. At that point, usually the person who is much more sporadic will say, "You've always not liked me," and you're like, "What?" And you're like, "No," because again, she's also talked to other people that are not supposed to be involved. She's talked to other people that are not supposed to be involved, more so than talking to the person she has issue with. Those ones have helped her cook it up properly and say, yeah, this is how these people do, because they can relate, right? Maybe they feel the same thing with their own mother-in-law, right? It's the monster-in-law thing is almost inevitable if you have sons. The awareness is what I want you to have, so that you prepare yourself. When you see it, you will remember this conversation, and then you can handle accordingly. If you didn't expect it to come, then you get caught off guard, you overreact because you didn't try to hurt anybody. And it feels like an attack that anybody is calling you a monster-in-law, especially if you love your children, right? So naturally, you become defensive. That's the first thing you do if you're a normal human being. But yes, I think most people that have sons, it's almost impossible. You can't avoid it. You're going to be a monster-in-law in the eyes of somebody one day. And I think it's something that's not shared with women a lot. So they're surprised when it happens, and they don't know what to do.
It's good to have the awareness of everything you just said, and again also to remember, how they said, right?
Yeah.
Mbasi is Yoruba.
I'm Yoruba. Yeah. It's like
they were lost for a second. Leave them like that, don't worry. Continue.
like hopefully when that time comes, that adage will be something because agba okin binu ibikubi. Yes? No, seriously. When you say agbalagba is a position.
Yes.
It's a very heavy position.
Of honor, by the way.
Exactly.
That has to be earned.
Yes. So you as a mother-in-law that you are agbalagba, you want to use the experience and the wisdom, hopefully. Again, I'm not a mother-in-law yet. Please, for those that
mother-in-law is no feat. There's a reason why they are mother-in-laws. And particularly, I try to get this gentleman to understand, like at the very core, of a woman. See, what you need to.
You know who I hope to be? I hope to be what my mother-in-law was with me. Because I wasn't an easy person to deal with. But my mother-in-law was so superb. Like, it's kind of agbalag, but I'm talking about. Because me now, being where I am now, I can look back and say, oh, girl.
I guess that's a good example to emulate, I guess that's a good example to emulate, right? The issue is that how it shows up for everybody is going to be from a blind spot, right? I'm not trying to scare everybody. I'm trying to prepare you. Self-awareness is key in all of this. Half the battle is won when you are self-aware that, hey, to the best of us, we're going to try to do the right thing. It's going to backfire sometimes. You calm down, then you're able to react accordingly, properly, in a way that's much more productive when you calm down. If you have unrealistic expectations of human beings, it will feel like an attack on you. You will overreact. You will defend yourself because that's the natural thing to do. It's going to feel offensive on the other end. And then you will be cooking each other until it blows up in your faces. But when you are aware, it doesn't matter what side you're on. If you are listening to me, you could be the mother-in-law. You could be the daughter-in-law. Any side you're on, you have power, is my point. You have power that self-awareness, I don't have to overreact. We're just being humans. Somebody is caught up in their emotions. There's some things I don't know. Maybe it has nothing to do with me. You stay calm. You don't overreact. Because if you overreact, your overreactions are your actions that you're responsible for. So I think the Agbakiwa Loja thing, when emotions comes in, when you mix that with a woman who is caught up in her emotions, yeah.
Well, I wanted to say something.
Go ahead.
So when I was still working in the yard, I remember you were reading. Is it the one, the P Square brother, the one that is still married? What's his name?
Peter.
So,
is this true? Is this statement on the screen true from Ayola? Shout out to Ayola.
it is.
Is it true?
Yes.
That means she's like 50 years old.
Yeah.
Peter is like 40. It's Lola Okoye almost 50.
40. I think they should be 42 this year, or 41, 42 this year.
No kidding.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say, regarding his comment, right? He was coming from a perspective of, like I guess in support of trusting your wife and.
Right, the question from Obas, right?
Oh, wait. Okay, two things I want to address. Sorry, I was all over the place with my thought.
Okay.
Let me address the Obas, the one that I saw on the screen regarding Burna Boy. That's a completely different situation because Burna Boy is not married.
Jesus Christ, she is 48, not 10 years, 6 years. She's 48.
Yeah, so Burna Boy is not married. So of course the mom is the manager, she's doing a great job with, managing him and everything.
Right.
So that question to the topic is not relevant.
Yeah, it's not relevant. This question right here.
But let's say, like, whatever he has now is what he has now, prior to the marriage, right? And he has this asset because they will check what you have prior to the marriage and what you have in the marriage. So now let's say when he gets married, whatever what he's acquiring at that moment,
Mhm.
then that would be the question at hand. Now, going back to what I was gonna say, what I wanted to say was when Peter made that comment, somebody came and said something about his brother. Now, from some of the things I saw online or the words on the street, his brother had this mall in Lagos where his wife contributed and put, I think, I don't know if I don't remember the exact numbers, whether it's 4 million or 10 million. She put down a significant amount of money, and she wanted to just have a store at the mall, and they refused. So she didn't get anything, even though she did contribute to
What's
that.
what's her name again? What's her name? Anita. Okay.
Yeah. So
Anita.
she didn't, in this situation, and then she wasn't in Nigeria where the divorce took place. She didn't get anything at all, even in a situation like this where she contributed a significant amount of money, and all she's asking for is just to have a store there, and they refuse. So what are they gonna say about that too? So like you said, love and war, all bets are off.
All is fair.
And things are not fair, and it's not only for the men. Like
It's on all sides. I forgot to say that.
and
On all
maybe
sides.
the one
Yeah.
for the women is not loud enough. I mean, there are so many different examples. People that are celebrity, people that are not celebrity. From a personal perspective, myself, right? Now,
Yeah.
when it comes to like people like Mary J. Blige, what do you have to say to that one?
She still pays alimony, right?
She still pays alimony. She didn't have any child with this man.
Yeah. So what the argument of the men? I'm glad you said from all sides, right? Because it's just true. And that's what a lot of men are having a hard time comprehending.
I guess is the one that stands out more. But there's a lot of women out there in these streets that are actually earning way more than the men, holding the household down financially and otherwise.
Right.
And at the end of the day, they still get hit. So.
Yeah. And that makes sense. And the men, and we get credit for that. If my wife is paying more of the bills and she works a 6-figure job, and she's able to keep 2 6-figure jobs, and we're able to live a lifestyle of a $300,000 home, I get credit for that more so than the woman.
Exactly.
Whether
you're the one that wronged her, whether you're the one that screwed her up,
it doesn't matter.
I feel like it's not fair.
Yep.
So
fairness now in the quarter. So it depends on what angle you look at it or what you can relate with the most. I just think anyone that's listening to us, you just understand that fairness is cute, it's ideal. That's why they call it ideal. That's not the angle you want to be looking at. You want to be looking at things from a standpoint of me and you against the world. We're one. Me and you against the world. That's the way you want to be looking at it. And if the other person is not moving in that way, then you need to learn how seduction works. There's something you can do to make them come into that space where they start to feel like they will just know they're self-destructing if they do anything otherwise. They will just know. It will just feel that way. Like they will just know that I can't afford to hurt the mouth, or how they say, to bite the hands that's feeding me, right? They just know that they know that they know that. And if they do, right, you're right. We will say they're a bad person. There's a way you move with bad people, right? When it comes to power, you have to destroy them completely. It doesn't mean, proverbially, right? You don't need to be in a relationship with a person that's outright, after you've done all this assessment, self-assessment, and you just looked at this person is moving mad, right? This guy said we're in everybody. I understand everybody's thinking we're in everybody. I get it. Okay. But if that was the case, this would be a war zone. There's somebody you care about. There's somebody somebody's raising your children, right? If all they are good for is raising your children, then that's worth everything. Make sure they're good, right? Does that mean 50%? Stop bringing the 50% thing up. That's lame talk. Everybody starts asking for something, they're not going to get that. They might get nothing. Like, for example, if this was true, she got nothing. Asking for something, preferences doesn't make any. I don't care about preferences. The reality is that people always get less, or they settle seemingly for less because they can see value in other aspects. Why? Because we're talking about romantic relationships right now. The value is never it's never this tangible thing conversation. There's more to it. There's a reason why you fell in love with a gold digger. Can we talk about why you fell in love with a gold digger if she was actually a gold digger? We need to talk about that. Or we should pretend like you didn't fall in love with the gold digger.
Right. And then this whole thing about, having the aspect to your mother, right, family member.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how it is in the Yoruba culture, right? Mm-hmm. But this is one of the things that happen in the Igbo that I really dislike, and it needs to change. So, oftentimes women, it happens a lot, and then there might be a few situations out there where it didn't happen. But oftentimes, when a woman becomes a widow, the family come after all the brother's assets, leaving her and the children high and dry. Completely forget that these are the nephews, the people that should inherit whatever it is that their brother left. They just come like bees.
It's the same thing. It might be a little bit less aggressive in Yoruba land, but it's the same thing
to me. So, and then another thing that I've noticed, like, men, when sometimes when they ask who's your next of kin, they don't even put their wife as the next of kin, and your wife should be your next of kin because the next of kin because the wife has children for you, and all that stuff will be for the children. So I think sometimes, not sometimes, oftentimes, this mentality whereby see your wife as an outsider.
Yeah, that's the real issue. That's the real issue.
Outsider, your wife. I just don't. It just it makes my head pop like popcorn. Like, how is your wife that has been with the most intimate part of you? The one that should protect you, the one that if you're sick, she takes care of you. One that if she was to buy, she'll be the easiest person to buy you. So to a greatest extent, you did entrust your life in her hands. You could entrust your life in her hands.
Right.
I entrust her be your next of kin, your wife, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, these kids are left high and dry.
That's the goal. If you don't feel that way about the wife you're about to marry, you're probably better off staying single. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no.
So because Chinye, what they will say, Chinye, what they will say, I want you to address this. What they will say is that, so what do you have to say with these people that have mother of my children and she's trying to take everything away from me? How should I respond to that? How do you respond to that, Chinye?
You said mother of your children, they're trying to take everything away.
That does happen, right? Yeah.
That happen.
Yeah, because if you end up in that divorce court, all bets are off. So people do that. So people that have this fear, this is where the idea of never trust women or a wife over your mother is coming from. What do you say to that? Because you're saying the wife should be next of kin.
So the love for your wife and the love for your mother are two separate things.
Like two different lanes.
Lame ass, like he irks me. Reno Omokri or whatever the hell his name is.
Oh, Reno.
Ooh, he makes my skin crawl. Like, I can't stand him with his rhetoric. But my thing is, when you keep saying, "Oh, who's gonna love you more than anyone in the world?" The kind of love your mother is gonna have for you is gonna be completely different from the type of love your wife is gonna have for you. Your mother can never have the type of love that your wife has for you, and vice versa. But I think what people are saying is, well, at the end of the day, something was to happen. Then whatever love your wife has for you.
Let me read this, right? Somebody actually addressed Reno, and I want you to address this after. I want all you ladies to address it after. Shout out to Charles Awuzie. When I saw his comment, I'm like, thank you, Jesus. They still exist. Like, I know it's work, but we will get there. We will get to a place where men can stop being men again and stop worrying about petty, stupid stuff. But anyway, he says, my thoughts on Ashraf Hakimi. Ashraf is trending for hiding his money under his mother's name to frustrate his wife's efforts to claim 50% of their estate. Here are the facts. Hiba Abuk, that's the name of the wife, Wife of Ashraf Hakimi, is a professional Spanish actress. She's not broke and definitely not a gold digger, as many of you claim. She has her own money, hence she never cared about Ashraf sending all his money to his mother while she uses us to run the home. That's shade. In fact, in 2020, Sports Mob called Hiba one of the richest Spanish actresses. 2. Hiba is one of the most intelligent actresses in Spain. She speaks Spanish, Arabic, French, English, and Italian fluently. How many international languages do you speak? Okay. 3. Hiba Abuk is older than her husband Ashraf by 12 years. Yes, 12 good years. She contributed in the background to his rise. That's why they say she's grooming. Anyway, Ashraf was only 19 when they met. Hiba is 36 years old now, while Ashraf is 24 years old. Ashraf is a 24 years old mommy's boy. No real man should ever take lessons from such a young mommy's boy. Well, we're in that space. Men are taking lessons not just from 23-year-old boys, 24-year-old boys, but 26-year-old women. But I guess you can learn from anything, including donkeys. But but Paul, right? 4. Ashraf is not my hero. He's not the kind of man I would allow to marry my daughter. I see Reno has made him a hero, declaring him as wise as Solomon. Really, everybody. Anyway, because he gave his money to his mother and not his wife. Let me tell you something about Reno. His marriage with his first wife failed for a reason. See, I didn't know that until today, and I can almost tell when a divorced man is talking. I can always tell. Fuck almost. I can always tell. I was trying to be nice, but oh well. This one on points too, but there's nothing wrong. Obviously, we know that here. There's nothing. Listen, like I said, most of you will either be divorced or go through divorce, or you already went through it. It's just where we find ourselves. The point here is to learn how to avoid it or do it better the next time around. Okay, so we can't even do the shaming divorcee people. Is stupid. Shaming is a terrible tactic anyway, But let me continue. Let me tell you something about Reno. His marriage with his first wife failed for a reason. He's currently married to an Ethiopian wife, and believe me, he won't try what he did to his Nigerian wife with the Ethiopian wife. Oh, some of them are running to Ethiopia. They are feminine, submissive over there. Wahala. Nigerian women are the most abused wives in the world. Trust me. That's why when our brothers take them overseas and their eyes open, I smell premium breakfast coming. Wait. They rebel. I'll talk about this some other time, but let me warn you about motivational speakers like Reno. Reno will argue he's not a motivational speaker and he's full cap.
He needs to
Green.
take that receipt, man.
Before you buy their ideology, ask questions about their marriage. If their so-called wisdom was truly wise, why did it not save their home? Any man who gives his mother all his money to hide it from his wife is not man enough and definitely not smart. Did you follow Bill Gates' divorce? That's a smart divorce. They settled everything amicably and only went to court to sign the official paperwork because they gave all that money away. Anybody that's chasing after money is not wise too. They gave our money away anyway. They're just trying to live and have a good time right now. Anyway, there's a grape case against Ashraf right now. Grape is a serious crime. You don't know what else.
Up there.
You said what?
He messed himself up there.
Yeah, no one wants to talk about that. We should just pretend.
Yeah, exactly.
That there's no case against him. Somebody said today, she should just forgive like a Christian if that's what angle we want to go. And move on without shishi. There's one thing that this generation of Nigerians don't lack. They can make you laugh, definitely. There's a grape case. Okay, we all recently. You don't know what else his wife knows. That's a fact. Usually, you know very little about what's actually going on inside. So there's probably more. But let's just give benefit of doubt. We all recently condemned Dalai Lama for asking a boy to suck his tongue. That's weird. Why are you now making a hero out of a 24-year-old mommy's boy whose case is now before a court? Conclusion: only a boy would give his money to his mother in order to hide it from his wife. We're not saying he did that. We're saying
sucking breast milk.
Right. We're not saying he did that. We're saying that's what men have been celebrating on the internet since the last 48 hours. We don't know if that's what he did. Like you said, rightfully, maybe he was a baby when they signed. They never really moved the paperwork to his name and all that. Granted, it's irrelevant anyway. We're talking about the response of people like Reno into this matter since yesterday. The fact that they're celebrating a young 24-year-old man who clearly didn't know what he's doing, who thinks he can protect assets by passing it to somebody in arm's length, somebody who literally lives in the next house with him. Could make sense, right? But let's keep going. Only a boy will give his money to his mother, and this also exposes the maturity of Reno. Stop taking relationship advices from boys. All right? They probably will call him a simp. Well, anyway, Ashraf and the likes of Reno are men who give their mother money to hide from their wives. For me, I raise men who are real men. We don't give our mothers money to keep away from our partners. Just think about what it sounds like. It's sounding worse and worse, right? We give our spouses right to our wealth, and if they ever ask for divorce, we give them a reasonable portion of the wealth we'll build together. Not ask her to ask for reasonable. You give her a reasonable. Focus on giving. Focus on giving. In any way, shape, or form, out of context, inside context, focus on giving. If you can't focus on giving, marriage no be anybody's mate. I keep telling you, okay? We build together. A reasonable portion of the wealth we build together. Somebody's like, yeah, that you build together. But you live together for 4 years. No, that's not building together. She wasn't playing in the soccer field with him. So it's not building together. I beg, pack well. Go and rearrange your argument. It's not adding up, okay? Say goodbye and continue to be friends for the sake of the kids, right? You wish. Even him is probably speaking from naivety. Fairness in a poto until she tried to drag you and they were like, wait, why are you trying to cheat me out of my money? Right? That's how real men roll. My name is Charles Awuzie and Ashraf is not my hero. Let me see here. If you are honest and you will discover that you are also a gold digger, that's cap. I'm not a gold digger, but anyway, the survival instinct embedded in genes is going to the extreme that they all come from. That's what he's trying to do, right? The survival instinct embedded in genes of humans is an ecological adaptive feature to help us live in a world of the survival of the fittest. I said that earlier. May the best winner win. Gentlemen, you need to know that. If she says she wants equality, say, yes, of course, equality, babe. I love you. She feel equal. You're good to go. It's the feelings. Don't be stupid. Humans make decisions that favor them the most. That's why, despite how selfless you are, there will always be some elements of selfishness in you. I have said it several times. Selfishness is not always evil. When I say give, I'm actually telling you to think of it from a selfish standpoint. That's how you get the most out of life. You're focused on take. You're shooting yourself on the legs effectively. Okay? Because you can be found out just like that. We can tell that you're lame. You're just concerned about what you want. But if you're truthfully in a way that you're going to be a winner in this world, selfish, you focus on giving. As a matter of fact, you can't survive on earth if you're not a little bit selfish, right? So selfish, self-love, I think that's the way angle is going. It's all semantics, but stay in this context, okay? Just make sure you also look out for others while you look out for yourself. So genetically, you're born gold digger, believe it or not. Why then do we demonize people who consider gold diggers? Well, if he uses the argument, they will destroy him, okay? Because why would anybody want to be with a gold digger? Regardless. But I see where it's coming from. Again, this is why I don't engage too much argument with people that have made up their mind. You know, the other classroom I was in on Clubhouse earlier, they tried to use Christianity. We are coming from Christianity. They use the Christianity to destroy the conversation because it's not good enough. Because it's a double-edged sword. You said what?
This as Christianity don't suffer.
They are more Christian than you at the end of the day. They know the Bible better than you too. The reason is the reason is simple. Such people dared to dig in bigger gold mines, so we are threatened by their courage and sometimes by their success. Envy is also embedded in the human genes, and it is responsible for our competitive world. Here is an example: a girl who is always asking our one bedroom boyfriend for urgent 2K. Don't be juju with that. It's not better than the one who is digging private jets. This a boy who claims he can't marry someone who is not a university graduate or employed is calling another man who married daughter of billionaire a gold digger. Give him a chance. He will marry the mother of Femi Otedola and call it the will of God. The will of God. This guy.
For that side.
The one who only wants to marry an unemployed lady and the one who choose to marry an employer are both digging something. Calm down. I always tell my mentees, while you are building yourself up, remember to always marry or date up. Another angle. I am a firm believer that marriage should build up, not reduce you. In fact, most successful entrepreneurs believe that who you marry is a clear measure of your financial intelligence. My name is Charles Awuzie, and I do not call anyone a gold digger because at the end of the day, show me the one human who is not digging gold. It's like looking for a prostitute who is a virgin or a beggar without. Let me see what Frank Fresh Quino say here. My goodness. So we're written with actual facts. So well written with actual facts. If you want a son like Ashraf, be careful because your daughter might marry such. Wahala. Ladies, let me hear your thoughts on this. This one is.
You know if Reno has daughters or not?
Reno, he will. Those arguments don't work with them. They will just say, "I will train my daughter to be submissive." They are very lame and myopic in their arguments for the most part. Yeah, it's very. And when they say, "I will train my daughter to be submissive," you're like, where do I attack this angle?
Also, you train your daughter to accept any crap. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but that's a husband.
This submissive don't suffer, man. They'll twist and turn it up and down, left, center. A lot of these men don't know what submission means.
No, they don't. If you're asking for submission, you clearly don't know what submission is because the idea is willingly submit. Dumb. But anyway, I hope this HAKIMI's issue will not destroy marriages. It will.
Yep.
It's profound that you actually brought that up. It will. There's a man tonight who has listened to Reno. He's going to go home. He's going to run his mouth because he thinks that's his power now. And then he go collect woto. And that one thing is not good enough to destroy any marriage, but that marriage might have been hanging on the thin thread in the first place. It might just be the trigger needed. But he won't be alone because a lot of people are going to go through that. Maybe for the next 20, another 50 years or so. Let's just say 20 to 50 years.
I bet you some couples will have arguments tonight about, for the past few days, about this topic.
About this, yes.
Heated argument.
Yep. He's going to start seeing her as, I can't believe you think that way too. She's going to be like, I can't trust this guy. And what's left if you tamper with trust in a marriage? What is left?
Nothing. That's the foundation.
It's a wrap. Oh no, but these women are just, I know. But there's only one person that we can hold responsible for that. If this was a real organization, what happened? Right? So what happened? All your employees in your department, they're gone. You're fired. We don't need to know why. We know enough. We know enough, right? So for those of you that like to use work-related analogies, I don't think they're relevant, by the way. But I just think marriage is a real thing. We need to start paying attention. One of my auntie had a solution for that. When her husband died, Nobody collected nothing. In fact, there were 2 wills. Updated version was the one she presented. Yeah, that's the paperwork, right? This is why I say, if you want prenup, go do prenup. I hope to God that that's your problem, because if you're trying to use prenup to push issues under the rug, okay, you'll be protected financially though, but the rest of the other aspect of life that matters, yeah, it's unrealistic expectations of yourself, considering that you're hopeless romantic, because you won't be in this conversation if you're not. Okay, you're not alpha male. I never think about love. Who thinks about love? No, I think love. I don't feel love. See, nobody did you be that. You're whining me. Whining me. Yeah, right. That's in the last 2 years. It's been interesting. It's been quite interesting being a part of this conversation. It's colorism that takes them to Ethiopia. Femininity waiting. Now, see, they're telling you your truth now. Now, so like they. Anyway, let me say this. Before I say anything, let me just. Where did they go? They left. Not to at the embassy. They left. All right, get Chinye. Let me get your gist, your last gist on this. Then we can go and call it a day.
From the onset, I feel like men and women before gone are the days that we just jump into marriage. These days, there's a lot of things that need to happen prior to getting into marriage. You know, both parties should take whatever responsibility. You know, there should be, even though, like you said, with all the prep and stuff that you get, things will still happen in the marriage.
Yes,
but
facts.
My thing is that I think that there should be a lot more that will go in terms of but not going to for someone to give you the answer and say yes, God says that this one is a man for you. No, but you both parties seek develop building up their faith enough to seek counsel, direct counsel. You know, we're true beings to see if actually this person is a person meant for you, and then just equip ourselves with tools that would help us with conflict resolution, with different things, because that conflict resolution, Baba.
That's it.
That's all in marriage. That's everything. So
that's major.
Because we don't know unforeseen circumstances that will occur, that we need to do the premarital counseling. We need to also, if there are any past healing that we need to do, like someone like me, if there's any healing that I need to go through, otherwise counseling, I should do that on my own. You know, both parties, so that because you're gonna come with your baggages, but at least if those baggages are being managed and handled, it would make a whole world of a difference. So all these things need to be taken care of, or you're working in that path or walking in that path prior to actually jumping into marriage. And so when you equip yourself with these tools, learning, learning the love each other's love languages, conflict resolution skills, that true honest love with one another, establishing those boundaries, and then you guys get in the marriage. I believe when you guys hit a rough patch, you guys will be able to go through it and come out in the end, because everybody would hit one rough patch or the other. There's going to be something that would happen. There's going to be a blind spot. Something must not happen, right? So, if from the onset we're on the same page or very close to the same page, it would prevent all these type of stories that touch the heart. So I think that's the foundation, number one. But if you're in the mindset of just coming into marriage and seeing your wife as the outsider and not having those boundaries with your family, Our men, our African, a lot of our African men have those issues whereby they are very weak to be able to let the family know, hey, my wife is not taking me, snatching me away from you all. I love you all. My wife is not going to disrespect you all, and you all are not going to disrespect her. And she's a part of me, and she is me, and I am her.
Yeah.
But that's not going to take away my relationship from you all. If those boundaries are established, and of course, human beings will still try and poke. When they try to poke and they see that you're standing firm, Gidiba, everybody will clear road.
Yes.
And respect themselves. But that initial phase needs to be established. When all these things are taken care of, I don't see any reason why that marriage will not be successful.
Yeah. 100%. Yep. 100%. With that being said, all easier said than done.
Exactly.
All easier. It's going to take work.
Rough.
Yeah, that's where the benefits are in the work. Understanding that yes, it's supposed to be easier said than done, but you still have to do the work. You can do it now. You can do it later. You can go to jail for 10 years and then come back and do it later. It's up to you, But these are work that needs to be done. You can lose $70 million or be hiding all your money with your mother first. Not being free to spend your money how you want.
You will still collect one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of life is that, So, and it's a testament to how good you are at understanding how money works too. So I think it's going to take work. I do think there's going to be a lot of casualties. If you're listen, I don't think people say if you hear red pill talk, avoid red flags. Not necessarily. Just send them to me for coaching. Have them. They want you anyway. Remember, they're hopeless romantics, right? And they have resources, But send them to me for coaching and have them engage coaching. What do you mean? Well, that's my requirement. If you're hearing those rhetorics,
heads will take a while.
You said what?
I said some of them are coconut heads. It will take a while. It will take a minute.
Then that's your cue right there. If they're going to be coconut head right now, what do you think they're going to be inside of marriage?
Exactly.
So,
but no, what I'm talking about is to engaging them in coaching, and you're trying to let them see something a different way. It will take a while. Some of them will not be able to practice it.
Yeah, they have to want something bad enough, right? They have to want someone or something or somebody bad enough, because you're supposed to engage counsel anyway, premarital counsel and stuff like that, right? So if somebody is already sounding like they're listening to the wrong things and it's making you feel some type of way, but you like them that much, at least make sure you do that.
I'm not even gonna have any engagement with you.
You won't be able to do it, right?
The way you be tossed out the window, like Jazzy J and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
You be tossed out the window. I mean, because at this point, I mean, in my 40s or whatever, nobody wants all this wala, man.
Yeah, because you don't have to.
Nobody wants this wala. I beg.
Right? You don't have to. Yeah, that's the issue. She is beautiful, and it's a handsome man too, but he looks like 18 in my head. I can just feel it. I'm like, okay, no wonder, So I'm not really worried about him. My concern is a bunch of grown men thinking this is their mentor and hero right now. It's a testament to how weak the modern man has become. It makes sense that they are creating the results they are creating, and but there's still some good guys out there, and there's some guys that they just need to listen. I would even argue that a lot of people that listen to the red pill stuff it rubs them off, and they're like, yeah, but and they're like back and forth. They're like, but that doesn't make sense. That's extreme, because they are lover boys inside, so they can't help it. So anytime you say anything that looks like, so that's why I said avoid marriage. Just avoid marriage. And they can't stand that talk. Then they will say things like, but marriage is from God. I was like, you don't care about God. Stop it. Stop the cap. You don't care about God like that. This is all.
Because if you care about God, you won't be spewing all this garbage off your mouth.
Yeah, you won't. You won't. If you have no fear of God, literally. So She don't look her age. That's probably one of the reasons. She looks like she can easily pass for 24, 25, 26.
She looks really good.
Yeah. I mean, let me be honest with you. Most men, like that brother that I just read his stuff said, most men at any age will want to bag this chick. Are you mad? She the whine me. Is she groomy? Is she like, are you what? Most of them will want to bag this chick.
Yep.
At any age.
That's
they will break their rules.
12 years older than me.
You said what?
That's why he was like, I don't care if you're 12 years older than me, I'm marrying you.
Yeah. They will be lost. These guys, like I always say, if you rub their head, last one, they are gone. They'll start thinking with a small head. Freaking kappas. They stay on the internet, argue all day. This girl right here, you won't take her home because you're 18. You will argue with your mother. You might even slap your mother. So let's be guided. You need to have a realistic expectation of yourself. Understand that you're just a man. You're probably going to fall in love. High chances you're going to fall in love if you're in these spaces listening to this kind of conversation. You need to use emotional intelligence, not STEM sense. This is not math. There's more to this. You need wisdom. You talk to your father. Talk to that older uncle who is not simping to people repeating talking points on the internet. Talk to that older uncle who is a little balanced. He might even be drinking, might be a drinker. He may not know anything about science, but he can give you some sense. Okay? Anyway, Chinye, thank you so much for coming by. This was a great conversation.
Thank you for having me.
As always, you're welcome anytime. We'll talk soon. All right, so let's leave it at that for today. Shout out to all 29 of you listening. I'm not sure this conversation is over, by the way. You're going to give me another angle, okay? So if the conversation continues, so be it will continue. Because I'm paying attention to what you guys want to talk about. It sounds like this is one of them. So, but especially if you can extract lessons and at the same time get everybody in here talking, I can appreciate it. We can definitely get the most out of it. Natu, my G, what did she say? She said, men should stop giving women reasons. Natu, you say I'm pulling your strings now. Giving reasons when the woman acts on it. And when the woman acts on it, be looking at her like she's crazy. I definitely agree with that, because clearly we're not just going to pretend that there's not a serious case allegation against this young man, a grown man. 24 years old is a grown man. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. That's a grown man. He will have to face the consequences of his behavior with his full chest. The least of his problem is that money is hiding. The main part of his problem is his reputation. Men, gentlemen, you know that. Reputation and his freedom, right? While everyone else is concerned about saving 50% of nothing. By the way, just because she gets nothing doesn't mean you're not going to lose everything. Brain. Okay? What is 12% of zero? You're deceiving yourself. Okay? Your zero is 100 to somebody else. They will drag you. All they want is just to hurt you. That's all they want. While you're counting money inside bank account, they just want you to not have freedom ever again. They want to keep you away. They want to shut you down, silence you for life. That's all that's valuable to them. What's valuable to you is to you. It's not necessarily what's valuable to other people. You know? So that's the deal. He probably grew up on watching her on TV. Yes, Sage, yes. Fantasies becomes a reality when they give you that amount of money and opportunities and attention and access that you've never seen in your life. You might misbehave. You might end up touching kwekus that will end up turning to, because I think he admitted to that, I'm not sure. Touching kwekus that will end up turning to this kind of crazy allegations. Be guided, gentlemen. We have work to do. Hopefully, you've been enlightened. Life would not say, sorry, going out with Hobbs and I had to get ready. Go get ready. That's fine. That's fine. I'm glad to hear that. Right? Please, on your way out, do me a favor. On your way out, HOUT. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button. Share. Subscribe. Share this with somebody. Share this with somebody, please. Okay? I appreciate you. Hopefully being enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.